All right. So I don't know what we're calling this. I don't know. I don't know what is happening in the future. I have no idea what this is going to turn into at all. But either way, did you have any ideas? You made a noise when I said I don't know what I'm going to call this.
No, I said it's the first time I've squad shrimmed.
Shrimmed.
Yeah. First time I squad shrimp. So yeah, man. I don't know.
I don't know either, but
so let's get a little background history for people that don't know, man. My guy Jake ran a YouTube. This is how we met. My guy Jake ran a YouTube channel called Bible Reloaded, and he with his
co-host, I think we call
co-host, yeah, co-host. I didn't want to disrespect the hierarchy. Right? with his co-host Hugo. Him and her have been running it for a long time, 10 years now, right?
It's got to be close to it if it's not.
Yeah, it's close to 10 years. And I still do. I love YouTube, and I just randomly found them, and I just started following, and fell in love with the content where they just break down the Bible, and then it, that gradually for them turned into like politics and current events and stuff like that. And we ended up meeting. They got on my podcast. It was a great conversation, and just like-minded people, man. I enjoy the wittiness and stuff like that. So that's how we met.
We've been friends since I think you reached out through a DM like 5 years ago. You were still in the league, and you were like, I don't know if I can do anything, because you were on the Texans at the time, and there was like that fella's a little religious. I'm not, and you hadn't done that article yet, and you were a little like, I don't know, maybe not the best job security.
Yeah. That was before it was like. So now it's like really super dope or super popular in any professional sport to say what you feel and say how you want to. But like when
I was sort of bubble,
I was on the bubble, and I think our era kind of helped usher that other era in. Like when me and Marshawn, he got like the press for it, but like I kind of did the same thing earlier in the year where I just said the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And you kind of started like looking at the media.
Go ahead. Did you do the one where you said I'm just trying to be the best teammate I can be? Yeah.
Yeah. And so I did that over and over and over again.
Okay.
And
but you didn't say you were gonna run through a motherfucker face. Okay.
No, I didn't say that.
Right, that was pretty cool though.
Yeah, it was dope. Yeah, no, but I think our era kind of like ushered in what are these questions y'all are asking? Like have some accountability and put the onus on the interviewer. And now players say what they want. They cuss in interviews, and it's all good.
Yeah, I dig that. Do you feel like you were? This is not the topic we had, but it's an interesting topic.
At all.
Do you feel like? I know you kind of mentioned it, but do you feel like you, I guess, trailblazed that? Like, I know specifically in the question of religion, you definitely did.
Yeah, for sure. That and nutrition wise, right? Because I went vegan in 2012.
Yeah, and you got shit for it.
Yeah, I got so much shit for it. I went vegan in like 2012, and I'm talking about it was ESPN debates about it, and like it was wild. But I wouldn't say I trailblazed like some little kids was looking, or the kids now were like looking up like I want to be like Arian Foster,
Well, yeah, I mean, think, like Muhammad Ali and stuff existed. Like
right.
We're not saying like you led free speech for all athletes, but I think in the NFL specifically, modern day, you're one of the people. And not just because we're close. Like before that, you're one of the people that I think of when I think of that. So,
yeah, no, for sure. So I don't think it was like a trailblazing thing as far as that concerned. But I think I was one of the first athletes to start, for sure, questioning the system of the media publicly, like saying, like, "What are y'all doing? Like, what is these questions? Like, what is this?" But on a consistent basis.
I feel like we should blame you for Joel Embiid then. Which I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. Like I like it, and it's like also like he whines a lot.
It's and this might just be like me being an older cat, but it's like it's beginning to get a little gimmicky, right? Because like when we was coming up, it was like for me it was necessary. Like this system had to be questioned, but like now it's becoming like it's like a little gimmicky to the point of where it's like y'all are just being y'all just dissenting just to dissent. Y'all ain't really. Y'all don't have any quarrels. Like y'all just mad.
I know he's more of an NBA guy, but you ever talk to Bill Simmons? Because that's kind of how his podcast goes.
I actually did talk to him. It was a while ago. It was like 2000, probably 15, 14, something like that.
Yeah.
But not since then.
Oh, because he talks about that too. Just seems
No,
interesting that you kind of like you very much equal have a very similar opinion, I guess, on that. Where it's kind of cool that we have a lot of access to, and not just athletes, although you have more of a sort of institution in front of you, especially the NFL, less so the NBA, but like just celebrity in general. Like there's sort of just like social media's like, I don't know. You can pick a fight with whoever the fuck you want, I guess. It's interesting. And also you can, I guess, be positive, but it's the internet. Let's be real. I experienced that on some level, obviously. Although, since you retired, do you still get a bunch of bullshit? I know you have a fuckload of followers, but like, do you experience a better or worse climate, social media-wise?
Now what I'm finding is I lost a lot of following just from because like once you're not doing what you do, people lose interest, right? Like it's like any kind of who doesn't agree with like some people will put up with your thoughts.
You're not getting me 20 points on fantasy football every Sunday.
Yeah. But they'll put up with your thoughts because you playing or you balling or you're just you're relevant in the news or whatever.
Sure.
But like once you're not, like, why am I following this dude? I don't give a fuck about politics. Boom. You know what I'm saying? So you lose that following, but and people are less inclined to argue with you really, like because they don't view you as I always say like bro, being an ex-athlete is the funniest shit in the world. It's like this outcast of society, and like people are like, why are you doing anything? You're just washed, and I'm like, yo, this is. It's funny. It's a funny thing. It's a funny place to be, man.
Hey, man, I've been to your house. If that's washed, then fucking sign me up, dude.
That's my clapback. It's like I don't think you understand. That's not a slight, bro. Being washed means you was on, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Like I peaked at 17, tore my Achilles up, and never played. I barely have held a basketball since, dude. I'm good. Like you had a good fucking run, especially.
You have footage of this torn Achilles?
Do I have No, I don't have footage of it, but it would have sounded a lot like ah. It was not good. I did hear a kid in that same gym. He dislocated his hip, and that was way worse. I guess that's way super painful. Yeah. I've never heard someone scream like that.
I would assume it's very painful, actually.
Yeah. You broke your hip? Says C.S. Avelios in chat, which is my boy Alex. I didn't know you broke your hip, you old piece of shit. I don't know. That's interesting, though. Celebrity is a strange fucking thing. It seems fickle, but like if you got in the news for any reason, like I don't know, if you did a guest spot on like ESPN or something, they'd still pick shit with you. Oh yeah, that guy.
I think it's my pet peeve of our society is like logical fallacies, right? And so
yeah, and this is why we get along.
So what the big one is like the ad hominem, right? And so it's like any like so like. For example, I had Tommy Lauren on I went on her show and she came on my podcast.
I didn't know you had her. She's terrible.
Yeah, she's pretty bad. But like just kind of like seeing the feedback, it was like people don't understand that discrediting somebody's point because that they're I don't know, not active in their profession. I don't know, whatever is a fallacy, right? It's pointless and it's ridiculous. And so it's like there's a whole bunch of those running around. But it's like I noticed that like anytime I do something like that, because my podcast every now and then gets a little cycle in the news.
Sure.
And that becomes a rhetoric sometimes, which is annoying, but I'm just used to it at this point.
I don't know. You got to pick a fight with Jerry Rice though that one time. That was dope.
He fucking blocked me on Twitter. I'm so mad, bro. Fucking Jerry Rice blocked me, man.
Hey, was he known for blocking on the field? That might track.
He was. Well, he was. You know, he'll come down. I'll tell you. I won't take that. He was one of the greatest of all time. He's not the greatest of all time because of the chicken.
The chicken hat.
Helmet,
Okay.
the chicken
Can we
hat,
talk about the
but,
chicken? This will parlay really well into our first topic. But goddamn.
All right.
The chicken hat did okay.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta look up. I gotta look up a picture of the chicken hat.
Here's the chicken hat, man. Here's the chicken hat.
It was like a chicken helmet, I guess. But Jesus,
chicken.
like I totally understand.
Yeah, I typed in Jerry Rice, and the first thing that popped up was chicken.
Like,
that's sad.
This shit is something like
this is horrible.
My dad would share this as a joke, like horrible, a racist joke.
I mean,
it's fucked up.
It's horrible, dog. It's absolutely horrible. And he was like I think he's like a Trump supporter and some more shit too.
He probably is. He got, I don't know. Some guys, once they get money, they separate from the fucking class politics happens. Oh, the sauce hat's dope though. I'm fine with the sauce dome. That's okay. It doesn't make any fucking sense for yourself. But
I think he did. No, I guess he didn't.
Her ramble was
I can't find him. I thought I saw him with a picture with a MAGA hat on. I couldn't.
Oh God, just say it ain't so though. I don't know,
man. Yep, I guess he did.
Wait, he did wear a MAGA hat?
Yeah, it says Twitter. Twitter responds to Jerry Rice's apparent Trump shout out.
Oh, uh-oh.
Yeah, man.
Still better than Ray Rice.
The funny thing, oh God, the funny thing, not the funny thing, the crazy thing was when I was like shitting on Jerry Rice about that chicken, his niece was like going hard at I didn't know she was his niece at first, and she was going hard at me in the mentions, like real hard, and I didn't know, and so I was going back and forth. I was like, yo, it's socially irresponsible to do something like that. It's like you have no awareness of history and no awareness of what people have gone through in this country and the stereotypes and how they affect people. Yeah, I was like going in back at her, like not mean or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she was like, she basically kind of alluded to the fact of him being kind of like lost. Like she's like, he's learning on his own, and yet I'm like, this is a 50-year-old man. Like, this is crazy to me. But I think that's what happens when you like so disconnected from society for a while. It almost happened to me.
Well, talk about that.
Like sometimes, man, not sometimes. Like in my journey, when you coming from like poverty, right? Mm-hmm. Coming from poverty is you have this narrow view of the world, and then when you come into like finances at an immense amount, it opens up, and that can either go one or two ways. And in my case, I went in like in a downward spiral because I was unaware of the farce that it put up. And what I mean by that is you forget, like, so when I get pulled over by police, it happened to me the other day. I got pulled over by a police officer and he was being a dick, and then I gave him my license and he's like, oh, Arian Foster. Oh man, hey man, here man, don't worry about it, man.
And for context, you still live in the Houston area. So.
Yeah, I live in Houston. And so he was like, oh man, don't worry about it, man. Just go on. And I'm like, that shit is crazy to me. But it's that like where you almost when you have money and a little bit of notoriety, you almost forget you're black in this society. And not to bang the race drum, but it's a thing that you have to deal with and you have to account for when you're encountering people on a day-to-day basis. And so, but when you have money and you have a little bit of fame, it's like you're pardoned from some of that, right? Not all of it, but you're pardoned from some of it. Mm-hmm. And you're allowed to like walk around these circles, and you're allowed to, my mom used to say, is like rub elbows with the rich folk. And when you do that, it disassociates you from where you came from, and it disassociates yourself from the experience that people that look like you go through on a day-to-day basis. Because, and I seen it, I saw it happen like in my face, like where I can remember one time we were in a club, and it's obviously a lot of these clubs, especially here, like their dress codes are specifically for Like they don't want minorities in, right?
Yeah,
It's
like,
easy to tell, right? They'll be like no baggy pants,
I was gonna say no baggy pants
no
is the first
sports
thing.
caps, right? It's hilarious. And so like one time we were in the club and I had a hat on, and the guy comes up to me and he goes, yo, there's no hats in here. You gotta take the hat off. And I'm like, and I look around and there's like fucking 8 cowboy hats in front of my face. And I'm like, yo, that's a hat. He's like, yeah, but it's not the same. I'm like, how is that just a fucking hat? Like, what is a hat? What constitutes a hat? And I'm here having this philosophical debate with him about hats in a club. And he was like, buddy, I'm just letting you know. Yeah, like, listen, man, you got to leave. And I'm like, fuck it, I'll leave. I ain't finna take my hat off. And so it was a principal, goddammit. And so I left, and then he comes running to my car afterwards.
Found out who you were?
Yeah, he goes, man, I'm sorry, I didn't know who you were, man. I'm so sorry. And I'm just like, yo, that's the kind of bullshit that it is. But you forget about it, and like you part in that, and you go on, and but after a while, especially when you retire, this society reminds you real fast that you black, like real fast. And I'm glad that I didn't fall too far down the well, and I never really was, but it's just like you kind of let a lot of shit slide that you shouldn't.
I mean, I guess it makes sense that, like, I don't know, coming from that and then like suddenly getting like, sure, like on the face of it, you might still get some of that shit, and then when people like back off, does that feel good at first? Like, I can understand how that's like, oh shit, like maybe I got past that.
Oh yeah. I remember specifically because we have a group chat with my family on GroupMe.
Yeah.
And I remember specifically having a conversation with them about how race is an overblown thing in the society, and I was banging for that, and they were like, "Fam, like, what are you talking about?" And I was like, it's just I sounded like a Republican. Like, no bullshit. I sounded like Candace Owens. I sounded like you guys are just making it yada yada. And it's because I didn't live in that world anymore. I lived in the suburbs where I was the Negro that everybody liked. I had a little bit of fame. I had money. And so I forgot what it was like to live in the projects. I forgot what it was like to have a police officer get behind me and feel nervousness, right? And it still is to an extent, but I know for the most part that you can buy your way out of trouble, right? And so my dad always used to tell me this when I was young. He said racism, classism is the cousin of racism.
Oh yeah.
I never knew what he meant, but as you start to climb these class hierarchies, it made 1,000% more sense. And it took some things that happened to me in the NFL, like as far as like. I can't talk about it too much because there's an NDA, but I had a baby out of wedlock, right? And that whole situation was crazy. And she went and did the most, like on TMZ and some more shit. And that shit woke me up, because it was like I went from like this heralded, like loved athlete to like this piece of dog shit. And I knew you were just you know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, I was like,
you had a good story. I mean, I still think it's a great story, but like the way the media narrative, I don't know how many people.
Jeffy, thank you for the subscription.
I don't know how many people in my audience watch ESPN, but they basically run this narrative where it's like you were undrafted, you came out, and then you blew up in a few games, and then you got a big contract, got paid and shit, and it was like this sort of like coming up story, and then anytime they can find drama like that shit, like, and that's like like how many fucking people in the NFL like have that exact situation, and not just the NFL, just fucking real life, like normal everyday people have that same shit happen to them. But yeah, so because of my profile at the time, it was like
her ramble was.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, like, because your profile at the time is the same, it just makes it worse.
Yeah, no, it's extremely rare, and what I found was, you said what?
We got Inception because you went to my.
Oh, I was trying to put you up like you put me up. Hold on, yeah, let me get.
No, that makes sense. I can go full screen. Tell you what.
How do you do that though? How do you put you little and me big? How you do that? Is that Discord?
I just pulled you full screen, and I'll just go full screen on mine. Wait, I can't. That wouldn't make sense. They wouldn't be able to see you. I'm stupid. No, that's why I was saying, if you just got a second webcam, we could just do a video chat on Discord.
Oh, that's what it. Okay, I have a second webcam. I just didn't
we can
know.
do it next time. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, what you were talking about. But anyway, man, that shit woke me up to a lot of the society's issues that still plague, because then I was no longer like heralded in my head, right? It was the rhetoric surrounding me wasn't like, oh, he came from nothing and he pulled himself up and you can do it too. It was like, you're just like the rest of them. Like, I was like, damn, and it happened overnight. And so that woke me up, and it was unfortunate that it took something like that to wake me up. But my excuse for myself is like, when you have your blinders on and you coming from like poverty, man. And when I say poverty, it's like American poverty. You know, I understand the dynamics of like world poverty, but it was like real poverty, right?
But I mean, I think it's important to. I mean, it's not like American poverty isn't shitty.
No, 100%, and that's
kind
kind
of
of
shitty.
You know, this was kind of my point. Was like your experience is your experience, and like it was real poverty to the point of like, you know, some nights we didn't have food, like we didn't have running water, like we had to take sponge baths, shit like that. Like it was real poverty. But coming from that, like I put my blinders on to everything. Like I faced racism, I faced all of this shit, but I didn't care. Like it was just a roadblock that I just didn't bother, because I had a goal, and I was just so. And then when I got there, I didn't really have a chance to reflect on the journey there. It's an odd place to be, especially like, and this is why I hate the NCAA, is because it's like, and it's a whole nother topic, but when you're pulling these kids from these neighborhoods and then all of a sudden they're thrust into millions of dollars, like the psychology behind that is insane. Like there's people that go to school, the people that help me with my finances, they went to school for this shit, right? I didn't go to school for this shit. So to expect a young kid that's early 20s to understand the dynamics and the privileges that it comes with and all of that stuff is just asinine. So the fact that there is a mandatory finance classes, mandatory behavioral studies, like mandatory shit like this is fucking it's neglect, and it's detrimental, and I hate the NCAA with a passion. Yeah,
I mean, they obviously just changed their tune on that recently.
Partly,
I don't know how that's gonna go long term, but yeah, it's like even the NBA is now, they're like, well, I think we're done. We're gonna stop the one and done shit, and we're gonna let high school kids come back in, which I like, but also there's a lot of stories about, and I mean, like, granted, like people that play in the NBA are like supremely gifted, and like, I mean, they're top of the line fucking athletes. And they're 17, 18 years old, like LeBron or Kobe or whatever, coming into the league, and like, but still, giving them millions of dollars is not healthy, regardless. And most athletes come from poverty in general. Most people come from poverty. Like even like I've experienced poverty. I didn't grow up with it necessarily. I grew up pretty middle class, but I was in poverty until probably from 2000. I graduated in 2006 at 17. Moved out and did my own thing probably from the time I was 18 years old until I was 25 or 26, until like the internet shit started like actually
popping off,
doing like paying for stuff, and it started to like instead of working 50 hours a week going to school full time and shit. So it wasn't like coming up like it, but it was, I mean, like, I had I remember I had 13 cents in my bank account, and I had a girlfriend, 2 potatoes, and it was a joke gift my mom got me at some point, and she got like a little packet of Spam, and it was a joke.
Oh man.
And I'd never and so I cooked that shit up. I made some good ass hash. I just like chopped up the fucking potatoes and put the stuff in it. But like,
Spam is pretty horrible though.
It's pretty fucking bad until you're real hungry. And I worked at restaurants, man, and I'm still like going hungry. But so
You didn't sneak any food out of there? I would have.
I mean, I did at times, but it depended when you work, right? So
Because don't they isn't there like a law that says like you can't
it depends on where you're at, but yeah, a lot of them throw it out. You can't give it.
That's crazy.
It's so fucking stupid, especially because like I'm not even
Dumbest in the world.
like that was just like a bad 2 weeks for me, right? Like I usually didn't go without food. I had roommates, and my mom is really supportive. She doesn't have a lot of money, but she's really supportive. And I probably could have asked, but it was just like a really like I didn't have gas money to get anywhere. It was just a really I don't know what happened, but it was a really shitty set of circumstances. I usually could coast. I was like I still have I don't know if this is still a thing for you. Maybe not. You've kind of eclipsed all of that, but financially speaking, but I still like I have the money to pay bills, and I have anxiety paying bills still.
Yeah, no, I don't have that. I think my anxiety is a very privileged one.
Yeah,
yeah. My anxiety financially comes from like, am I? And this is I even saying this right, but it's a fact.
like for your kids
like,
and shit.
Yeah, it's like, am I gonna teach them how to not blow?
Sure.
What I've, you know what I'm saying, or even like something like this, social issues like this, man. I grew up in extreme poverty in America, and they're growing up in extreme wealth in America.
Mm-hmm.
So my anxiety comes from how to teach them not to be pieces of shit. You know what I mean? Like that's where my anxiety comes from.
None of them are really old enough to.
Well, they show signs, and that's what bothers me. It's and other kids. Kids are selfish in nature, I believe.
Yeah.
But
how old's your oldest?
My oldest is 10, and she's really good. She's probably one of the smarter ones, and I'm really honest. I'm really honest about that.
Yeah. I'd say, in my experience, I'm not a dad, but I had a long-term relationship with a woman who had kids, and also I used to teach. I'd say the right before the teenage years, you can kind of tell, like if you've been doing a good job.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, she's cool.
Right. Yeah, no, she's really good. She's smart. She's witty. It's just every now and then, like I have to remind them that they live in a bubble because they have no idea. Like sometimes, like like we'll feed them dinner, and they'll be like, I don't want this. I'm like, well, that's what's for dinner. Like, what do you mean you don't want this? Like, I don't even remember that thought crossing my mind when I was a kid. I don't want this. It was like we was happy to have food, and you have this luxury of I don't want this. Like, you better sit there and eat that shit, or else you're not eating. Yeah. And I have to check myself because they don't know anything else sometimes. But it's just the fact that they and granted, like I have issues with baby moms, but the fact that they have that option elsewhere is bothersome to me.
Yeah. So I'm assuming they get a different treatment outside
of course.
Of your house. Yeah,
of course. And like one of the biggest issues that bother me, they don't have chores at their other house. And I'm like, that's
weird.
Dog, how do you not have chores? Like, so like, and this is the dynamics of, which is actually a interesting topic, like the systemic nature of parental care, right? Is like they always lean towards the mother, especially if the father's black, right? They always lean towards the mother, and they give them all the
custody.
Yep, in cases of custody, in cases of everything.
Yeah, sure.
But they always lean towards the mother having all the parental rights, and it just becomes like this perpetual cycle, right? And to me, I feel like the system is actually enabling gold diggers. The reason why I say that is because if you look at, I feel like if there's supply and demand, right? If the courts aren't set up to where it's like, in California, it's horrible. In Texas, I got really lucky, like right with baby moms. But there's a cap on child support. There's no cap in California. There's no cap in New York. There's no cap in like these big money states.
Yeah.
And if there was, it would lead women to be less inclined to like just try to have babies with men that have wealth, right? Because when you do that, and I'm not saying that just as because I was a part of that, but I'm just looking at it like as a whole in the macro. it creates horrible family dynamics for the most part, right? And of course, there's outliers, but it creates horrible family dynamics. But then, it incentivizes young women to have that as an actual career path, and it is an actual career path. Like it actually is a career path. Like either try to marry a man with wealth or try to get impregnated by one. And if the laws are set up like, because like if you think about it, and I have, it doesn't take $10,000 a month to raise a child. What the fuck are you smoking? Like,
hey,
what did we? But that is an actual payout sometimes. It's like so.
I was thinking until you said that number right there, 10,000 a month, which is fucking. That's $120,000 just to be a parent. That's that. They don't have to work. I mean, they can, but they don't have to. Like that's
and that's why the system incentivizes it, right? It's like as a man, like, and this is like, I didn't have a lot of mentors growing up. I kind of just figured this shit out by myself.
Sure.
But there's no way I should not have been walking around with a box of condoms on me. There's no fucking way. And there's no way I get married. There's no reason to get married. It's just the piece of fucking paper. It's the dumbest shit in the world. But these systems are set up in order for women to win, which is weird because and I'm not saying like all women are bad. Please don't.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm very progressive, right? But this is why it's like a conundrum to me, right?
All
it's
your
like
best friends are.
I know I have plenty of women friends. But all my, I was about to say all my best friends. But if you look at the system that is perpetually set up for white males to succeed, they overwhelmingly fuck men in custodies, and it's weird. That's the weirdest shit in the world.
I bet if we studied that, there's a distinct reason behind that. What I think it goes back to is that women historically were not allowed to own property, and so the assumption was not that it was going to fuck the men over, but the assumption was that women wouldn't have an avenue, and so this probably used to be a very progressive deal. I would almost guarantee it if you look into divorce law, just from a historical perspective. This sounds like something that popped up out of like, well, women are homemakers and we have to protect them. You know what I mean? It didn't consider that women have agency beyond the home, and it probably worked for a good amount of time in the 20s.
Right. You would think though, like in today's society with all these lobbyists, pushing legislation, like one of these fuckers would be like, you know what? I'm not trying to get fucked in my marriage, so we got to change this. You know what I mean? Like somebody, like, because I would actually agree with that. Like you don't. What it creates a precedent in your relationship with your counterpart, right, or whoever you made the baby with.
Yeah.
It creates this relationship where it's contingent, and at my level, it's different. It's like they just tried to.
Do you feel like you were
take advantage?
Do you feel like it was predatory?
Of course. Oh, well, one of them was for sure. Absolutely.
The one you were talking about.
The side joint, yeah. The side joint. But that was for sure predatory, and it was crazy. Like I was just thinking, I don't want to get too deep into it, but I was just like in a horrible emotional state because I was in a marriage that I didn't want to be in, but I was only in that marriage because she was from another country, and I was like, yo, I can't see my daughter every other 3 months. Like I want to be there for her, and so I was like, okay, let me do the right thing. And like as my best friend say, like, yo, sometimes doing the right thing ain't the right thing. But anyway, it sets a precedent between the relationship between the mother and the father. Not on my level. My level is just they're just trying to take advantage of me. But like at the common the median income in America's level, what it does is sets a precedent of like leverage. Like you can't see your son until you pay your child support. Like, and it creates this horrible dynamic.
Incredibly antagonistic.
Yeah, man. And then the kids become leverage, and the only people that suffer are the kids. And this happens a lot in communities where emotional intelligence isn't that prevalent because of the circumstances, right? There's just a whole lot of variables going on. People don't understand how to deal with these social problems on an intelligent level that would be conducive to diplomacy. But and it's all systematic.
One would think that I mean, I guess at the time you were still in the league, but one would think that like the well above average wealthy young man that is going to be able to be home a lot would be a better living situation, right? Wouldn't that be like not the
Say that one more time?
Wouldn't the assumption be that you were the better living situation? Probably not the first time around.
1,000%.
But like
1,000%.
Like been to your house, it's very chill. The kids enjoy it. Like you're home all the time, and it's not like like and not to disparage, but like you have a little bit more than $10,000 a month should the need arise. Like right. So I don't know. It just doesn't really necessarily make sense. And that's not even to say that like do you have joint? Like is it split? I don't know how much you can talk about it. But
joint is you get them on the weekends.
Right. So
or every other weekend.
You have? I don't know.
Yeah. And that becomes tiresome because especially in my situation, because like remember I told you that they don't have chores at the house, right?
Yeah.
So the discipline. I mean, I would say overwhelmingly in the family dynamics, the dad is usually the disciplinarian, and of course there's a spectrum, but the dad is more so the disciplinarian, and the mother is more the nurturer, right? Just by nature.
I'd say that tracks in my household, but not the household I lived in.
Right.
When
I
actually took care of
it fluctuates. It fluctuates for sure. Yeah. But I would say overwhelmingly.
My mom is like that though. Yeah.
For sure. And so when you're going to the disciplinarian's house every other weekend, right?
It feels like a punishment.
It's a punishment. And so I don't say I have to hear things because it's just a part of it, and I don't take it personally. But it's like it hurts because
Mom doesn't make me do this.
Well, they don't say that. They'll say they'll do like little slick shit. They'll be like, hey, Dad, what time is Mom coming?
Yeah, when are we going? Okay, so I experienced the same shit, dude. Same shit. When are we going? Okay, so I was with a woman and her ex-husband had them. It was like an every other week situation, which was fine with me because I didn't necessarily want kids. I liked them a lot. They were great, but I'm not mine. And the ex-husband like lived with the grandparents at the same time. It was kind of he was more taking care of them than the other way around, but still. But the grandparents were the ones that like took care of them like during the day while everyone was at work, and it was when are we going back to grandma and grandpa's, because like they had chores and they had to like clean up after themselves. And also it turned out that the grandparents were super religious and like, hey, what's an angel? Like they said that, they said that when I die I'm gonna be an angel. What's that? Like holy shit. But no, I've experienced that too. That's shitty. And they weren't even mine and I was upset. Like so I can't imagine like if you actually like intrinsically love them. What the fuck are you watching?
I turned on no disrespect, but like I don't want my viewers just to stare at me. So like these are like
wait, I thought you
visually
were
visually satisfying videos.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna.
And so it's like them, but it's this dope to have like in the background play. Have you never watched these?
Yeah, dude. Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. Oh yeah.
That looks like it fucking hurts though when you get shaved like that.
That's good. That's not very visually satisfying. I didn't know your shit was hooked up to my shit. That's
I can
crazy.
just watch your shit. But yeah.
No, yeah, it's one of those things, man, where it's like you can't blame the child,
of course,
at all, but it's prevalent in the relationship with the child, and you have to take the short stick, or the long stick. I don't know, whatever stick that isn't the good.
Whatever the stick is,
that's the stick you have to take. And then you like I always tell my mom, she's like, oh, this is shitty. She's like always like, I'm like, yo, I'm playing the long game. Like, right? Like one of these days, like my kids when they're 20, 25, 30 years old, they're going to be like, man, I appreciate you for giving us chores when we came over to your house. Like, because every time they come over, they have to do the trash, they have to do their bed, they have to do this. So like I have to play the long game.
As a kid, I really appreciated my mom. I mean, I still appreciate her for like she's incredibly loving, right? Like she was between the parent. I mean, not even close. Like I don't feel like my dad ever was like a dad. It felt like more like a father, right? Which is everybody needs that, but I feel like everybody needs both to some extent if you're gonna have both parents in the household, right? Like, but she was such a pushover because she just wanted us to be happy at all times, which again, it's good, but it's not necessarily like long-term healthy. And so I had a lot to learn later on in life. Luckily I did, but my brother had some problems with that for a while, like being the baby and not like he got into some legal bullshit every once in a while, and just like and not that it was like 100% her fault, obviously he had agency, but he just like kind of expected a certain level of treatment, and I don't know. I wasn't prepared to. Luckily, I worked in like restaurants and shit, and you get your ass kicked pretty quickly if you don't keep up. But I wasn't prepared to like bust my ass the way that a lot of kids grew up doing. But that was, and then I don't know. Dad wasn't a good fucking influence in any way, though. Really.
That's always a wild dynamic to me. How like you have a baby and then you're just like, meh. That shit's crazy to me, dog. Like, I don't understand. I don't
know. It was meh. It was more like I want you to be exactly the fucking person I want you to be. Right? It was like it wasn't like I want to help you be the person you're going to be, which is how I approach things. I don't know. It was unhealthy.
Yeah. I was arguing with somebody, and it was under you know what? That's part of the things that I wanted to bring up. Well, actually, it was on Charlemagne the God's Instagram post. All right, so let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Oh, let me hide my screen because y'all gonna try to.
Yep. Okay. Gotta hide it.
Try to jack me, fam.
Don't you have a second screen? Did I teach you how to use that?
Yeah, I got one.
All right.
But yeah, I got the the stream deck is
all right.
Is key. I seen you been going ham with it too,
dude. There's nothing funnier than slightly zooming in on your face and then saying a punchline. Okay, there's nothing funnier. Plus, honestly, do you know why I actually do it a lot? Is because when I'm sometimes when I'm doing things, I'm like, this is definitely gonna be YouTube worthy content, and I'm skipping a step.
Yeah, that's dope though.
Yeah, it's nice. And
it's
by the way, thank you for the gift.
Oh, no problem, brother.
Very nice of you. I did not expect it, but it is cool.
All right, I found it. Here it goes. Check this out.
All right.
Here it is. Can your viewers hear my screen?
No. But wait, yes they can. Hold on, I'll shut up. No. Go.
Here it is.
But wait, yes they can. Hold on, I'll shut up. Go. Go.
Cam Newton, right, is a member of the LGBTQ, and I'm gonna tell you why. Anytime you get a strong leader wearing scarves and things out in their hand and long purses, they want people like that, just like Antonio Brown.
That's just fashion.
No, that ain't no bad fashion from the hood. We men. And you have to set examples out there for men in this universe because we have too many bad examples. They look up to that man. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's gonna get to a point. I'm gonna start putting something together and start cracking these people over their head because it's that bad for these children.
Wait, the way that you dress determines that?
It doesn't determine, but when I travel this country and I see men with their pants down, I swear to you, I tell them to put their pants up.
And that's bring them. That's a good example because you talk about Cam with the scarves.
Exactly.
But dudes in the hood sagging their pants, that's just.
Listen to me. I tell them, yo, put your pants up. Let me see a mug. Well, I mean, because my kids might be watching. Let me see somebody walk around me with a scarf on. I'll smack them.
What's wrong with the scarf?
Are you for real, babe?
Is masculinity monolithic though?
Yeah, are you kidding me,
I just
babe?
think that times evolve because look, we look at.
If Cam Newton was around me, I would smack that motherfucker with
Wearing a scarf?
Why do we care if he wears a scarf?
It's a scarf.
Why do I care?
He ain't wearing a scarf like to be on some fashion. He wearing a scarf because my mother used to wear scarves like
What
that.
if his hair cold?
Nigga, get a hat. Get a man, and I'm not against gay people. Let's make sure we ain't talking about gay. I'm talking about fashion. When Allen Iverson was wearing mink coats and diamonds, they banned that. They should ban men wearing tight pants.
You cannot
shorts,
tell men what they
bags.
can and can't wear.
I don't agree. You
I'm
don't agree?
gonna tell you something too.
Let me be somewhere.
I don't want to hear nothing more of that. But
What the fuck? That sounds like every white guy I've ever heard too. That sounds
bro,
like
it's
every
wild.
white guy I've ever heard.
It's wild, right? It's wild. You see, I don't know if you can read this comment that I wrote on it, and I said, as the world is more interconnected, the more progressive it gets. This thinking and feeling is outdated and unproductive. So, like, the crazy shit about this is, I used to feel like this, right? Not on some like I'll smack them, but like I used to dismiss people with any men, right, with any kind of feminine characteristics, right? It's just how I was. Yeah, that's why he ain't gonna smack nobody. That's the thing, though.
Shit.
But no. So feminine characteristics, like if you dress, like we used to call it, like we used to be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to disrespect anybody, but like that's what we used to do it. But it was like it was so normal.
He's talking about the headscarf shit here, right?
Yeah, or just how he dresses, like the skinny jeans
dude,
and
say
and
what
the
you
stuff
will.
like that.
He looks fucking good sometimes, man. Sometimes it's sort of fucking weird, but like
it's fast fashion. Like it's what I realized is it was a revelation was that fashion is like self-expression.
Absolutely. Who's better?
I had no
Russell
idea.
Westbrook or Cam Newton?
At dressing?
Yeah. I gotta go Westbrook, man.
I don't like either one. I'm gonna be honest,
I don't like it. I just like for some reason they both pull it off. Like I'm not wearing whatever the fuck this is, like a polka dot preacher monk thing, but it works. I don't know. Maybe it's because he's like jacked out of his mind. Maybe that's the shit, or just he's like really confident in it. But like I can't pull this shit off.
I can't pull.
I don't have either. I don't know. There's something about those guys, but
I don't have. I mean, look at.
I know it's wild shit. But yeah, I actually
this what kills me is like how. When did this become fashion?
I do not know. I think we're the losers though.
No facts. I don't know shit about it. I don't know anything about fashion, though. Like I used to dress like nice, but it was just like some shit. Like this era of fashion, I don't know what it is, and so it's like to me, this is like they throw on whatever, and it's just like look at this shit. Are you looking at my
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, the titty windows on his shirt are nice.
Yeah, I just don't get it, man. I don't understand it. It's like because matching isn't a thing.
No, but I like
That's
it,
nice.
and the reason I like it was a fucking zoot suit. The reason
he's killing it. He can kill that
the
shit.
reason I like it is because it takes masculinity and changes it. It doesn't make it like Charlemagne said. It's not a monolith. It's I like listening to him and Joe Budden. But did you hear the Joe Budden on sexual assault?
No, I hadn't heard that one.
You should listen to that. We'll listen to that in between weeks, and we'll talk about that next time because it's really, really fucking good. But I like the idea that I mean these are athletes, right? Like Cam Newton and Russell Westbrook, and I think James Harden does this shit. There's lots of athletes that do it. They're fucking like their masculinity in the traditional sense. You can't. It's not impeachable. You can't like be like, nah, he's a pussy, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I mean that's
they're big dudes, and they're what masculine. They're what people who obsess about the concept of masculinity think about when they bring it up, and then they take that and turn it on and say, I really like that.
Well, and that's kind of like what brought me to like progressivism
Yeah.
was that this thought that
Was Cam Newton
I
sats?
wanted. No, it's not. But this thought that I was arguing with people underneath those comments was, that they want the world to look like they block, and it just can't that can't be a thing. And so I wanted the world what I viewed it as, right?
Sure.
My view of masculinity was the only one that mattered. And when you humble yourself, and that's my issue with religion, is like it's arrogance, and it masquerades as humility, and that's dangerous as shit. And that's that's kind of what I was arrogant in my worldview, but I was pretending to be humble. And that's a dangerous mix.
Say that one more time for the people in the back. What is religion?
It's one more time for people in the back. Yes. Arrogance. I mean, religion is arrogance masquerading as humility.
Yeah, I mean that fucking nails it. I think that absolutely nails exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of prejudices in general. Not to say that just religion is always prejudicial, but
holy shit, did you see that one?
The tree?
Yes, bro.
Dude, I've literally had a tree like that.
The leaves just fell off it, fam.
Those were needles, okay? That was a coniferous tree. Get your tree facts,
look at this,
okay?
Look at this. Yum. That's amazing. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro. That was amazing. I put this on in the background just so like you know, got something to look at, but that shit was amazing, dog.
Needles are fine. Needles are leaves, but like, come on.
Anyway. This is actually interesting, and I haven't put, when I say zero thought into this, I've put zero thought into this. Mm-hmm. But one of my chats asked as what are your thoughts on trans athletes competing in girls sports? I actually haven't put any thought into this.
So there's a correct answer.
I would think so, but just to preface it with, when I say I haven't put any thought into it, so like I wouldn't even. I'm old enough now to understand that like if I haven't put any energy into researching the nuances of it, I probably won't speak on it publicly.
Yeah. So a lot of people bring up like testosterone levels and shit. It's all bullshit. Okay. So people that take T blockers, for instance, their testosterone is going to be way lower than everybody else's. People that take
what is a T blocker?
Testosterone blocker, right? So like male to female transition or whatever.
Gotcha.
So it's not testosterone. So and usually it's male to female because people who are skeeved out by trans people or just transphobic in general, they always think of male to female because they're cutting their dick off, right? They're losing something in the exchange, not gaining in their head, right? Even though it's bullshit, that's what they think of. And when you take T blockers, which block the production of testosterone because it's part of the transition process, you have lower testosterone than everybody else. The argument is that, well, they're men, which again is not how gender works, but they're, and I know you know that,
right.
They're men competing with women, right, or boys competing with girls, and they have an air quotes obvious athletic advantage. This isn't a thing that's supported by science. It's an opinion thing that is rooted in basically just not understanding it and having a visceral reaction.
What is the literature on it?
Like the, what do you mean? Like
just any kind of like scientific.
The long-term studies show that there's no physical advantage. And specifically in male to female situations, right? Because that's the one that they're worried about. Because the assumption is if you start male and transition to female, you would have an upper leg. The only way that this would necessarily make sense is usually what the claim is it's just a bunch of guys trying to win sports and steal scholarships from cis women, which is just, it's not true. It's not a thing that happens.
Yeah, it sounds like a little paper tiger.
Yeah, exactly. Under any scrutiny, this sort of falls apart. I understand the initial visceral reaction when people are like, "Well, it's boys playing with girls and their thing," but like it just isn't. It isn't the case. The science just like, and what we should do is we should go to the science with it. if the science said here is how this works and it is an unfair advantage, it'd be something to address. And the way that I would address it is let the leagues decide, right? But the science is not in support of that argument. It sounds like common sense, but there's lots of things that sound like common sense that don't work, right? So that's usually the argument they make, is it's obviously it's common sense because boys are different than girls. And it's like, well, sure, but like, I mean, have you ever played basketball against a girl that is like just fucking really good at basketball? It's not that different besides like height, and we're talking like they bitch about it at different levels, right? They'll bitch about it at the high school level, which is like, oh well puberty, blah blah blah, right? Okay, first of all, if you're worried about puberty and trans athletes, then you should not be against teenagers transitioning, okay? Then you should be letting them take their puberty blockers so they don't go through that, so you don't have this situation that you apparently care so much about but are unwilling to address it up front, right?
Is that like is it reversible? The
puberty
like
blockers? Yeah. So
okay. So that
they transphobes will often use the term chemical castration in regards to like puberty blockers. They'll say, "Oh, look, this parent is chemically castrating their son." So anytime you have a male to female transition, you are chemically castrating yourself, and all that means, it doesn't mean your balls are falling off. You actually have to get a procedure for that. Chemical castration is just the sterility involved with transition when you stop producing the sex hormones that your testicles produce, right?
Now here's a question. Do you think that...
And it's totally reversible, for the record.
Got you. So do you think that it would be... Because I know very little about this issue. I think one of the things that flipped me was having a transgender woman on my podcast, because I was on the other side of the aisle, actually, with like the bathroom thing, with like all of that stuff. And then having her on my podcast totally changed my mind, because I never put myself in her shoes. Callie Wright.
I don't know.
But anyway, what do you feel about young kids transitioning?
So this is sort of a misnomer, because not a lot of young... So transition implies, like, when we think of transitioning, we think of the process of, like, the surgeries and the different hormones and stuff like that. When kids transition, children, they're taking puberty blockers, and that's it. Because for someone, and this is a diagnosed medical thing, like, it's just science. It's been so since 1980 in the DSM-3. Dysphoria is a medical diagnosis. It's often associated with transness, though trans people don't necessarily have dysphoria, but most cases they do, where they have a very intense disconnect between their assigned gender and their in regards to their sex, and their actual gender in regards to their sex. So the treatment for that is transition. And so if you think about the it's hard to explain to people that don't experience it, and I don't experience it. I'm not dysphoric, so it's hard to actually put it into words. But when you talk to trans people, they explain being dysphoric in a lot of different ways, but mostly it comes with intense hatred of one's body, the genitalia, the depression that comes along with it, anxiety that comes along with it, in regards to, I mean, from a myriad of things you don't even think about, right? Like hair growth, like specifically in male to female transitions, little stuff. And studies show that, first of all, like, misgendering is, and this is part of transitioning, is being gendered correctly. Being misgendered is as mentally damaging to people with dysphoria as it is to, like, shoot a bottle rocket off near a veteran with PTSD, right?
Really?
Yeah, it's as mentally damaging. And I mean, the science is in on it. It's
I think oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay. And part of transitioning is preferably, if you are male to female, female to male, doesn't matter, non-binary but don't want to be whatever you were assigned. A big problem with dysphoria in children is puberty for everybody is fucking weird, right? I think everybody agrees that puberty is a weird damn time to be alive. Everything's changing. It's even worse. Like, imagine we're cis, and so that means that we were assigned male at birth, and we identify as male and masculine, and we're very comfortable with that. That's fine. But imagine if at puberty we started having like primary and secondary sex characteristics show up that women usually have, right? It would be a daunting fucking experience for us, especially in a scenario. I'm assuming in your community, since you mentioned it earlier a little bit about how where you used to stand, and much like me, toxic masculinity was definitely part of our lives growing up. Where
most definitely,
and so imagine if you were, if you ran tantamount to the expectation of what you should have been as a man, right? But on a psychological level, where it's like your very like feeling of self is being violated rather than just your perception. It's both of those plus literally like your actual concept of who you are as a person being violated, not by anything you can control, but literally by biological factors that aren't your fault. So for kids that are transitioning, the treatment is to take puberty blockers to prevent this process from happening, because it's incredibly damaging to people with dysphoria. So all they do is they take a thing that prevents the sex hormones from really interacting with your body. It's entirely reversible. If you stop taking them, you will go through puberty like normal. The only negative to it is not doing it if you are dysphoric. If it's not like they're I know a lot of transphobes like to talk about it. They're not chopping off little kid dongles. They're not giving them boob jobs and shit. Like, you got to wait until you're a teenager to really even get to the later stages of it, because you have to be a certain amount of developed to receive a lot of the transitioning surgeries and stuff in general. But not even every trans person gets the surgery. Sometimes they just don't want the primary and secondary sex characteristics to be really prevalent with the
I think what swayed me on it was I asked the woman that was on my podcast. I think I asked her what I asked her. I asked her something, and she said, I was talking about a joke or something, like a transgender joke, and I was like, okay, like when it comes, I prefaced the whole conversation with, I don't mean to be disrespectful. I'm really ignorant about the situation, right? And so like anything that I say, just don't. It's not disrespectful. It's purely information based. And I said, okay, what about this joke, right? And I showed her a joke on TV, and I was like, all right, so like you gotta admit that's funny. Like that's funny, right?
Was it misgendering or dead naming or something?
It was
like Ricky Gervais.
I couldn't tell. It was a couple years ago, and so and I said, you got to admit that's funny, right? And then she goes, she's like, yeah, I see how that can be funny, but it's just you get tired of being the butt of the joke. And I'm like, you know what, dog? Like, let me pause, because what I've been doing my entire life is telling people, like being black is a certain experience that you can't experience unless you've done it, and it's not something that we can take off. And that's why appropriation is a thing, right? It's because you can take that shit on and off, but we can't, right? And we still deal with those consequences. And I know how that shit made me feel, right? It made me feel bitter inside. It made me feel angry. And people deal with it the ways that they deal with it. And hearing her story and hearing her experience is like, I can't relate to this shit at all. Like, I can't even pretend to relate to this shit. So I'm not going to try. But what I can relate to is being marginalized. 1,000% I can relate to that.
And
so
this is intersectionality.
I agree. Yeah, 100%.
This is what this concept is. Yeah.
And I was watching this, and this was more recent, but this is kind of reaffirmation. But I was watching this thing about gay rights, and like in the 50s.
Oh yeah.
And there were people saying, "Listen, I don't care who you do or what you do,
Don't
hiring
do
any
it in front
gays.
of me.
We don't support it. You know, my God." And yada. And I was like, this sounds exactly what transgender men and women are going through today.
Oh yeah.
And
100%.
And I was like, okay, like I don't think, and in a broader sense, it doesn't make sense to me, and it's not something that I can relate to. I know of maybe one or two transgender people.
Yeah, one of them is my co-host.
Yeah, facts, definitely one of them. And but what I do know is the internet has it's part of my issue with like right-leaning talking points about political correctness. I fucking hate that shit.
Yep.
Because all political correctness is just like this middle ground of like, I'm not sure what you're comfortable with. You're not sure what I'm comfortable with. Let's just stay here so that we can have this diplomatic conversation. That's all political correctness is. It's just not being a dick. And
yeah, pretty much. It's just not being a dick. It's specifically not punching down, right?
Yeah, and that's a big thing. But that's what kind of brought me to this progressive ideology. Is like the internet has done nothing more than bring people together that feel the same and have been marginalized. So I hate when people, and that was part why I brought up that Charlemagne the God video, is because people are like, it's not back when we was growing up, or back in the 50s and 60s, the home was stable and yada yada. I was like, yeah, but how many people were going out and fucking other dudes when they were men, right? Behind the scenes, how many people were cross-dressing, or I don't even know if that's a offensive term. I'm sorry if it is. I don't know what it's called. But how many people were doing like all of this stuff in the shadows, right?
Yeah.
Because it's unacceptable as a society. And it's been going on for thousands of years. The Romans were very big on this.
Thanks, Fuller Spectrum. I appreciate that, bud.
Huh?
I was just shouting out a dude and gave a dono. Thank you, bud.
Oh, for sure. No, and so what it made me realize, like an aha moment, was, holy shit, the society that I thought was stable isn't. It's built on a whole bunch of old rules and old customs that I just got comfortable with. And because I'm not comfortable with this, doesn't mean that I should chastise it, or doesn't mean that it's not valid. Like, how you feel is how you feel. I can't relate to it, but I'll support you as long as you're not harming anybody else.
Right.
And
I mean, interracial marriage and shit was one of the, or just intermixing in general, like desegregation was like literally one of the same. Imagine going through desegregation in the age of social media. Like, we'd be having the same, literally the same conversation as the transgender bathroom. It's the same conversation. And
no question.
Yeah, and people don't necessarily realize that they don't have the maybe historical context, or maybe they don't have the empathy necessary, or they don't have just
all that.
It's probably all of it. But yeah, I just like I guess I just don't I don't understand being a member of a marginalized group and not understanding someone else's marginalization. And I'm not. I mean, I am probably the least marginalized person in that, like, as an example that you can get besides someone that's more wealthy than me, right? Like, I mean, I guess I'm an atheist. I guess that's my one point. But like, is that really even, like, at a certain point?
It is if you want it to be.
Yeah. Like, it just depends on the
it definitely
space I'm
is.
in. But yeah.
And that's part of the conversation I had with Tommy Lauren when she was on my podcast, and I basically got her to admit that white privilege was a thing, which is wild, right? Because she's been on record denouncing it, right? And so I walked her through it. Like, I walked her through it. I was like, you have to admit that there's a hierarchy of things that you can and can't get away with in this society. Like people that try to deny white privilege is hilarious to me. Like, just imagine. I hate the whataboutism game, but like, just imagine if Obama did one of the things Trump is accused of. I'm talking about.
I think part of that's also Republicans are just slime balls. But yeah, I totally agree with you.
So it's getting harder for me to see Democrat versus Republican as like just other sides of the aisle, and just not like distinctly different moral and morals. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. There's I mean, not even to say that Democrats are necessarily better just left or right, because Democrats are a lot of them are just like less religious Republicans, I suppose.
It's a stupid fucking system. It's this like this capitalism and it's lobbying and it's politics is about that. But when you're talking about progressive ideas, Republicans are stuck in this mindset that they don't view as either racist or greedy. And I don't see how it's anything other than that.
Yeah, and this parlays finally into topic number 1. This is probably how this is going to go for the foreseeable, based on how you and I talk to one another. This, like, literally every single conversation we've ever had that has any depth to it has always been like this. But which is why we're here. But an example of that is you've experienced white people that just want to say the N-word, right?
Yeah.
Like, what?
What
do you think?
Not just white people, is Mexicans.
Oh, sure, yeah. But I mean, with the hard with hard R and but with this sort of facade of it's my free speech and it's. I don't even know how to frame it necessarily, but I wanted to talk to you about this because it had come up here on this platform with the streamer Destiny, who said basically that he thinks, if he says it in the privacy of his own home in context of jokes, it's fine. And his friend Trihex, who's a huge streamer on here, is an African American and generally is pretty chill with just racial epithets in general, because I mean, like, the nature of the internet, you kind of have to be. But that hurt his feelings, like genuinely hurt his feelings, because those two are friends and they did a podcast together and stuff. And he got emotional about it. And I'm wondering, I guess I'm wondering just how you feel in general about just that entire conversation, because as a white guy, I have experienced definitely being around racist people. They try to co-opt that Chris Rock bit that I think Chris Rock said he regrets it because of the way that racists like to use it. But and I'm assuming you know the one I'm talking about.
I don't actually.
You don't know the one? Oh,
paraphrase. I've seen a lot of Chris Rock.
He makes a distinction between
the A and the ER.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm wondering just how you feel about that entire conversation. Like where you at on that?
Right. So I'm not comfortable with white people saying nigga around me with an A or ER. Right.
I'm not comfortable with it either.
That's dope. That's dope.
Like, I don't know.
Words don't have meaning, and this is like an adage. But words don't have meanings; they have usage.
They're socially constructed. Yeah,
1000%. And so inherently, you're not hurting my feelings by saying it. It doesn't. It's not. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But what you're doing is you're telling me that either you're unaware of the historical context behind that word, and you're not interested in how it makes me feel hearing it uttered from somebody who looks like you, right? Or you're just saying I don't care, and like they said, it's my free speech. And I used to get in fights about that, right? I fought people because of that, like literally fisticuffs, right? Yeah. But as a grown man that's not willing to risk his freedom, in time with my kids and stuff like that, I just choose to walk the other way, right? I'm not gonna argue with you about it. Like, I'm not finna. You don't get to tell me how to feel about that. Like that, it just is what it is. And as far as the Destiny thing is concerned, if he wants to say whatever he wants in the privacy of his own home, I'm not finna police him, right?
Right.
But it doesn't make any sense to me as to why he would want to, right? There's thousands upon thousands of other words you could use, right? But you choose to use that. You choose to admittedly use that. So like maybe you should see what is the root of that. Why do you want to use that word? Like what is the I have no interest in saying I don't even know the word for Jews, right? For like Jewish people. Like what is the defamatory word?
I don't think we'd say any of them, but
right
on the platform. But
I don't even know what it is.
Starts with a K and rhymes with kite.
Oh, gotcha.
That's the one that I can think.
I think I know you. Okay, so like I have no interest in using that word, right?
Yeah, me either. Yeah,
I don't. for why? So I'm not gonna use it in my privacy in my own home. I'm not gonna use it. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. I think what's happened is like everything else in America, black pain loves to be exploited, and people love exploiting black pain. You like why don't Destiny run around wetback like in the privacy of his own home? Like why wasn't that a topic of discussion? Like why not?
Yeah, that's
because
actually interesting.
Black pain has always been exploited in this country. Always, and we always have to succumb to somebody else saying, "Why are you feeling hurt about it? Why it doesn't even matter? It's just a word." Like, yeah, I feel you. It's just a word to you, right? It means something in society. It does mean something. It doesn't intrinsically have meaning, but the context behind it definitely has meaning. And I don't feel comfortable with you saying it in front of me. But like I said, I'm not finna play word police for people. I'm not finna run around and say what you can, what you cannot say. But what I will do is say, if you choose to do that, I'm gonna disassociate myself with you because you obviously don't respect the context in which I view that word. Now there are black people out there who say, "Man, y'all got to get over that. You just got to do it," and that's cool. That's them. That's their circle. That's whatever. I'm not that. So that's how I view that.
How do you feel about the pass?
The pass?
Yeah.
Everybody's social circle is different, right?
Sure. Yeah.
I don't have anybody in my circle that I give a pass to. I've heard it used before. Like one of my buddies that lives, Swag, the dude that lives with me.
Yeah.
One of my best friends.
He's the one that had that awkward handshake with, right?
Yeah, that was so weird, man.
He went to DAP and I went for the white guy handshake, and I didn't expect it. And I don't know why.
He was literally. It's a not talked about enough thing. All right, so like,
let's talk about my caucasity. Okay, let's actually do that. Okay,
when you see somebody going in, I think for you should start out with the fist, right, and just go like that. And if you see their hand opening up, then you go ahead and open it up.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
So here's the thing, okay? Growing up playing basketball, regardless of race, everybody dabs, right? It's like just a thing. Nobody fucking shakes hands. But I have been out of that for so long that it stopped becoming. It felt. I started getting made fun of for defaulting because I'm a white guy, and so now I default to the handshake. And
that's a horrible default to be. You don't want to default.
I moved. I had just when we came down and visited. I had just been in Boise, Idaho, for like almost 3 years, which is arguably the whitest place I've ever been. And so, like, just everything turned fucking white culture in my mannerisms and everything. And so, yeah, it bled through. It was really weird for me too. It was not just the handshake in general, like literally just Boise, Idaho as a culture shock. It was. I didn't realize how, even though I come from a small white farming town, not too far away, like Michigan, where I live, has one of the largest black populations in the United States. We have Detroit, we have Flint, we have I live in Saginaw. I didn't realize how actually integrated the communities I grew up in were until I left them. And boy, is it fucking white in some places of the country. Holy shit, yeah.
The majority. I mean, it's just the majority of the country.
Yeah, and I don't know, like,
So I think for now, I think you default to the. I think you default to the pound.
The pound, yes.
The pound, just pound it, and you know what I'm saying. Usually, just get a little. You know what I mean? But if you see him reaching out like this, it's rare. It's rare that they reach out like this, right? It's rare that they go like this. Yeah. It's either they usually coming from the side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They come in like that, and then come for the like that. This is like very formal.
Most people do that. It's not even just fucking like black guys. It's literally most people are just like that. I don't shake my white friends' hands. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I see now, and maybe that's the difference. Like I have different handshakes with every one of my close friends.
I used to. No, we used to do that too, where we had all. Well, I still remember some of that shit like this, and then jellyfish, and then bring it back up. I could do it all the same shit. I still remember that shit from some of my friends. But I mean, we don't have that now. That sounds cool though. We should have a handshake.
It's amazing. We have one, man. I got handshakes with.
All right, we'll develop a handshake. Next time I'm in town.
Here. Matter of fact, hold on here. I see you popping your head. I got a handshake with my. Hold on, come on. one. Is it right? We go like this. The full one. We gotta give him. We gotta give him the whole thing. Oh shit!
Oh my god!
Well, man, it's been a minute. I live with you. I did done. Yeah. That's our handshake, right? Why is that? Why do we do handshakes?
Man, handshakes are definitely a primate thing, right? Definitely.
I don't see birds shaking wings.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's a primate thing. Like, I just like, I don't know. There's something about how we can use our fingers and shit. I think that's cool though. I didn't know you and the lady did that shit.
Yeah, it's
I didn't see
and we have a
that.
short one.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. So
she makes
anyway,
good ass sandwiches. Okay.
Back to this N word,
dude. She well, okay. I just wanted to gas her up a little bit. Those fucking sandwiches were super good. Okay.
Hey, babe, Jake loves his sandwiches. No, it's different. It's different. He loved your.
It was the egg. Is the
amazing.
Yeah.
The grilled cheese, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Jake. Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. So he said you can come back anytime, man. But yeah. So I don't even remember where we were.
She tell you she texted me after I sent you that Christmas present?
No, she didn't.
Oh yeah. She thought that was cool.
She's nice. She's nice.
I like her a lot. You should keep her.
She I'm gonna keep her. I'll keep her around for a while. See what happens. But she likes because like you know how men for the most part like don't really keep in contact with their friends like that. Like we don't want to hit you up when I hit you up.
Mm-hmm.
She like always is trying to cultivate our friendship. And I'm extremely appreciative of that. She's always trying to like, hey, so and so's coming in. You want to go visit who? And I was like, yo, cool. I would never do this.
That's cool. My house is the place where everything happens too.
That's dope. That's dope. I think it was Socrates. He had it right. Socrates. I think it was Socrates. He lived with everybody that he loved, like best friends, family, everybody that he loved. He got a big house and he lived with them, and that's the way to be to me. I think, and that's why, like my best friend, I was like, "Yo, like I love you, bro. You dude, just come stay." And he was like, "I'm always over here anyway," so he stays.
Yeah, I mean that's especially because you have like the situation where you can do that, right? Like that's pretty cool.
Of course.
Like I've invited people to live in my like Alex, who I mentioned earlier. I was like, "Hey, he doesn't get along with some shit at his house necessarily," and there was a situation where he might have to move a little bit far away for everything that like his nursing school and shit like that. And I was like, dude, if you want to, like, he's like, I can't pay you. I'm like, I know, but like, you cut my lawn and like snow, shovel my snow and shit, and you can live down here. I'll help you make a little apartment downstairs and shit. I don't know. I guess that's just like, get in the basement. Yeah.
When you get in the basement,
get in the basement. Get in the fucking basement.
Like when you enjoy people, like it's.
Yeah.
Enjoy them.
Yeah, and I thought, I don't know, it didn't seem weird to ask, and he didn't seem weirded out that I offered it, and so it didn't end up shaking out that way. End up being able to stay in the space, but obviously it's open if you ever needed it, and I think that was cool. I actually really
Is it open for me?
If you ever need it, yeah. I don't know why.
Take you up on it. I need that basement, dog.
Please don't blow every opportunity you have. That would be fucking sad, dude.
Yeah.
What version of Arian Foster do I get that has to crash at my basement? Who's that guy?
Might have to show up in Saginaw, dog.
Hey, come hang out. I'll take you immediately out of Saginaw and we'll go to the cool parts. Actually, I'm gonna invite you out here next summer, and you have to say yes. Okay, you can bring kids too.
I heard Michigan has extremely dope golf courses.
I don't golf, but I will golf with you. I'm shitty at it, but I will golf with you. And we do have amazing golf courses. We have amazing beaches. We have like a Mediterranean climate in the summertime. It's like going to Europe in some places. I'll take you to my favorite spot in the whole state. We'll hang out. It'll be a good time.
I've only actually been to Detroit when we played them in 2012 on Thanksgiving. Actually,
Detroit is not Michigan, okay? Like Detroit is cool. There's cool parts about it, like, but it's pretty shit, right?
Right. I don't know enough about Michigan or Detroit, so I'll take you.
Detroit is it's got some cool history to it. It's you know, did you get to spend any time at all in the city?
Nah, they got us on a short leash when you travel.
That's what I thought. Yeah, it's got some historical. There's lots of like really cool places I could take you that you'd like in Detroit. We could go to the strip club that Ben Wallace constantly goes to. But
still,
yeah, my friends see him there. I don't know.
That's wild.
It happens. But no,
I don't know what it is about me now. Like I went to the strip club and I went to strip club for my birthday, and I haven't been in years. And I used to frequent, but like now I just
that's kind of part of the culture though, right? Of the NFL and shit.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And rap, but
yeah, I'm not into it, man.
I enjoy it.
I mean, who doesn't like
drunk? I enjoy it drunk because my faculties are not operating at 100%, right?
Sure, and you're not thinking about everything, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know,
and so if I go in there sober, I'm just like, yo, there's where's the dads, man? Where are they? This shit is so sad, dog. Like you gotta, it's sad, but
support your sex workers though, Chad.
That's what I was gonna say. It is actually probably the oldest business in human history, dog.
Yeah, I think shit like prostitution should be legal, but
no question,
yeah, it's not my scene. The strip clubs, there's a certain type of clientele that I just it's not me. But I mean, nobody necessarily, assuming you're attracted to women or dudes because they have dude strip clubs. Nobody hates nudity. Really, if you're going to a strip club, odds are you don't hate nudity. But like, the internet has so desensitized me to that shit, and now it's an awkward social situation where I already kind of don't like the music that's there. I already kind of like don't want to be around the other people that are there.
Jake don't like trap music.
Well, see, I'm going from my perspective. Saginaw, okay? Not necessarily trap music, okay?
Okay.
We're going to the hoedown, partner!
Hold on, fam. What kind of music do they play in Saginaw strip clubs, bro? I need to know.
Well, they definitely play rap and stuff.
Okay, I was about to say,
no, that definitely happens. But I mean, like, Sweet Child of Mine is on the fucking playlist, okay?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But then I bet you the demographics is.
Oh yeah.
Not as diverse.
They have a I haven't. Yeah, no, I don't. This it's gross here, but they have a what do they call it? It was basically a thing for saggy white middle-aged women, and like if you're into that, that's great. But like the music, I guess was the demographic, right? So like, I don't know. That's not my scene. If you guys want to go do that shit and enjoy some tater tots with your strip clubs, then go for it. That's
chicken wings, bro. Chicken wings. Strip clubs have
the best chicken
absolutely
wings?
Amazing chicken wings. I'm trying to tell you, man.
I like a chicken wing. Flats or drums?
Drums. Both. I mean, you know.
All right, but you went drums.
Playing to the stereotype. Both of them, man.
The stereotype. Oh, chicken. I forgot.
Yeah.
Let
me get my taste mask on.
Fuck. That was a drum. I had a drum attached.
I wonder if he still has me blocked, man.
He definitely has you blocked. There's no way Jerry Rice knows how to unblock people. No way.
Hold on. Let's see.
He's too old. Drums are great.
Rice.
Hey, thank you so much for the gift sub, Nihilus Rambo.
He unblocked me.
No fucking way.
He fucking unblocked me, dog.
Tell him to come on here. I want to talk about the chicken thing.
Shout out to Jerry. I can now view Jerry Rice's tweet. Shout out to that. Yeah.
It's never too late to be a goat.
Amazing.
You know, I debated that guy. Did you see that shit? Jesse Lee Peterson.
You did?
Yeah, I debated him like 3 times, dude. He's awful.
I think I saw one of them. I don't think he's a good acting character. I don't think.
Oh, really? What would give you the idea that Jesse Lee Peterson?
I think he might be grifting, dog.
You think so? I have an emote.
I think so.
I have the beta emote. He did. Did you? He told me to suffer and die. He told that to me.
That goes along with my quote we were talking about earlier. It was like how religion is arrogance masquerading as humility.
Fuck
It's like you're so compassionate and caring, but that you motherfuckers to die and burn, and I don't want it to happen. Well, then talk to the boss, bro. Talk to the boss.
Hey,
I was trying to find this video. It's hilarious of this dude. He's talking to the judge, and he's basically saying like, if two grown people want to have sex, they should be able to have sex. Like he's like lobbying for sex work, and it was funny as shit, but it was real as hell. But I've never seen it like done in a courtroom before. Can't find it.
Wait, someone said I clicked on this and thought you were black. Shake my head, dissatisfied.
Which one?
No, me. They thought I was black.
I thought you
they
were
got
black.
dissatisfied. But check
why
it
would they do
out.
the
Bobby Feeno is. So I mean, like it's.
Bam.
There you go. Black enough for the both of us. I'm definitely white enough for the both of us.
That's facts. I'm only half black, so it's not black enough.
You're not. Did you
Nope.
get wait? Grown up mixed. Is that a?
Oh yeah, that's a
How's
thing.
that? Explain that, because as a white, I have not
As a
experienced literally anything in regards to my race in
As
a
a
negative
white.
fashion, unless I was like surrounded by black guys that were angry at me, but like it didn't affect me, right? Because
All right.
I'm white.
My experience has been interesting because I grew up in a predominantly Hispanic.
in New Mexico, right?
Yes, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Then I moved to San Diego for the rest of my high school years. And so when you grow up in that environment, what I found was that's mostly where my racist experiences came from, was from the Mexican community. And
Oh,
being half
interesting.
Mexican, being half Mexican, it was disheartening, and it kind of like turned me off to fully accepting my Mexican experience, right?
Sure.
And so I
what's
don't
your
even
mom? Because it's your mom's Mexican heritage.
Yeah.
Mexican, like from Mexico? Like, is she?
well, her people are
what-
from New Mexico, but
what
eventually down the line
Yeah.
they came from
What generation are you?
like maybe third or fourth.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Mexican community and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, and the issue with being like half black
Mhm.
is that when I walk down the street, they know I'm mixed with something, but they know it's black, right? And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
and so that becomes how they identify you. And so when you're dealing with like Mexicans, in that community that I grew up in, it was you're an outcast, right? You're the other. And so it's interesting how minorities have minorities.
Yeah.
Um
You were talking about
and so it was always
skin tone earlier.
Yeah, and so yeah, it's a thing. So growing up, I felt a lot of it was like almost always defending my blackness, right? It's always like it was always a thing, right? And it was always like they would say, shit, I'm like, nah, bro. Or we used to fight, like shit like that. But as I grew and I started finding like-skinned people, you start to notice that colorism is a thing, right?
Sure.
Light skin versus dark skin, but that's not as intrinsically racist. That's more just like good-hearted banter.
Sure.
But yeah, most of my racist experiences came from being Mexican, which was odd to me, right? But it's the same reason why you see like a lot of Hispanic people who are Trump supporters. You see a lot of that because a lot of them don't think that they're minorities. They don't think that they think that they're white, which is a weird dynamic. Like some of my family members are like this. Like when I kneeled for the national anthem in 2016 with Kaepernick.
Yeah.
And you look amazing, baby. All right, don't interrupt my stream.
That was both sweet and
an asshole, right?
Yeah.
I
do that shit too all the time.
sweet and sour, the candy. first they're sweet, then they're sour, or whatever. Anyway, I kneeled in 2016 for the anthem on day one on September 11th, right? And so my
Were you with
cousin,
Miami that year?
I was in Miami,
Yeah.
and my cousin, I think he was in the Navy. And anyway, my phone was blowing up after the game anyway, but my my family was like blowing me up, and they was like, "Yo, cousin so and so, I ain't gonna call him out, but cousin so and so's tripping. Like he's cussing at mom, he's cussing at Christina, which is my sister."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Yo, what's the deal?" And so I get on the text with him. He wouldn't get on the phone. I'm like, "What's going on, man? Like I don't understand like the rift. Like if you have an issue, come to me." And he was like, "I just think it's disrespectful and yada yada yada." And I was like, "I feel that you feel like that, but are you interested in hearing as to why?" He's like, "No." He's like, "You're disrespecting the military and yada yada." And I was like, "Fam," I'm like literally not disrespecting the military, like literally. And we kind of going back and forth on that banter, and I surmised from what he was saying that he didn't give a shit about the black experience. Like it didn't matter to him. And that told me everything I needed to hear. And so it left the conversation left. I was extremely diplomatic. I wasn't an asshole at all. I was like, dog, like I would love for us to continue a conversation, yada yada yada. But like I can't stand for you sitting here calling my sister a nigger
Whoa, he was doing that?
Her dad, his dad is racist as fuck. So my mom and his dad, which is her brother, they didn't talk for 20 years because she married a black man, which was my father.
Yikes.
Right. And so we never really got close to that side of the family because of that, right? I'm talking about threatening my dad with a shotgun and some more shit. Was a whole bunch of family drama. So 20 years later, he apologized, and the big reason why he apologized was I made it fell, and his daughter was living in Houston at the time, ironically, and you know she was a struggling college student, and I was helping her out, right, just because it was family, and I knew her, and it was my cousin, and we bonded. It's still I love her to this day. But he was racist, but the fact that I was helping his daughter out, him and my mom reconciled, right? It's like, okay, maybe they're not so bad, right?
He didn't say you were one of the good ones, did he?
He wouldn't have said that to her. She'd have checked him, but I guarantee that's what he thought.
The closest to this experience I have is I dated an Arab girl for a long time out of high school, and she got that shit constantly because it was post 9/11, right? So.
Yeah, that was a thing. And so finally when that kneeling happened, him and my mom get into it. They end up saying he ends up saying stupid shit like you and your he said he said something to the likes of like you want to be a nigger bad, something like that, and she was like, well, you can kiss my ass, right? But the interesting thing is like they'll be like Trump supporters, right? They'll be the cats that say build the wall, shit like that, and they don't understand how inherently racist that shit is and how anti people of color it is. These are from the
Mexican side of your family, or
yes, but this is what I'm trying to explain is like there's a big population of Mexicans in this, or just I don't even see it. It gets a whole Latino and all that shit gets
Latinx is the
it gets all fumbled. But from my experience, there's a big population of Mexicans in this country who do not view themselves as a minority. They kind of view themselves as white. Right? They look at other people like minorities, and it's fucking fascinating to me. So like when they say build the wall, it's otherism, right?
Very Candace Owensy.
1,000%. And so my experience growing up was that, and so I didn't ever identify with being like a Mexican American man. Like it just didn't. I don't like when I look in the mirror, I don't see a Mexican
because they othered you so much.
It's not that they othered me. But it's just like anytime I tried to be involved with the community, like they didn't view me as them. And like, so it was like a whole bunch of slick racist shit all the time. And then you just get tired of putting up with it. And I don't feel like defending myself when I go hang out to have some food. Like I don't feel like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so like after a while, it's just like, and granted, of course, this is all anecdotal, right? I'm not typecasting all Mexicans.
Oh, sure.
But from my experience,
your mom, I mean, exists.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. But from my experience, you just get tired of defending yourself. You get tired of the little covert racist remarks, and it just gets old. And you don't feel accepted in that community. And so I've never identified as a Mexican man. Like it's weird as fuck saying that shit, like, honestly, because I don't even see myself like that. So the experience it's wild because there's also a dynamic in the Black community where you're mixed. Right. Mm-hmm. Which is, I don't think as
toxic.
No, it's not as toxic as being mixed with Black. but I think that's the history of being anti-black in this specific country. And American racism is fairly unique with the historicity of the legislative
Oh yeah.
practices put into place, and how that trickled down to social
I guess kind of the social ladder. I guess like it kind of
yeah,
trickles
well,
down
like,
the social
yeah,
spectrum.
yeah,
Yeah. How do you feel
yeah.
like Donald Trump is and the presidency in general? Like, have you noticed a difference in the way people like address this kind of topic, or
As far as who when you say people,
like I guess a lot of people are saying that it's emboldened racists. Do you feel like that's the case from your perspective? Or do you
do I feel like I'm
well,
sorry? She was talking to me
yeah,
last time, bro.
I saw you. No, I saw.
I'm sorry, man.
No, I saw you
She
did.
was just sitting there, and I had to, you know what I mean, be a good boyfriend.
And she was looking a kind of way at you, and
Yeah, she was. She was.
do you feel like the Trump presidency has like changed changed your experience at all? As far as like maybe people are more emboldened, or do you feel like it's the same,
Yeah.
or
Oh no, it's they're more emboldened, and they're the rise of the internet pundits has specifically changed it, because what they're doing is they're giving still uninformed, but they're giving them uninformed talking points to where they feel justified in their position. So when you're protesting police brutality, it's, well, police officers kill more white people than black people, and then you have to explain to them how math works, right? And disproportionate.
yeah,
And then so like, but they give them these talking points, and so people in general, I think people in general are stupid, right? And they don't actually search for any kind of truth. They search for justification of their confirmation. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And so all they're doing is fueling the emotion of. That's part of the reason why I wanted Tommy Lauren on my podcast, was to tell her that. And I told her that. It was like, yo, I wouldn't even know who you were unless you said the things that you said with the vigor that you did and the animosity that you did, right? And that's why you have the platform that you do. And that shit is actually tearing the social fabric of the country apart.
Did she acknowledge that?
She did to a certain extent, but it's just like anybody else. They see, I see how other people, she said, well, you have to see it just on the left is too. It's like, I'm not talking to anybody on the left. I'm talking to you. Like, and that's what they want to do. They want to play that otherism game.
Yep.
Which is fucking annoying. But because it's just a logical fallacy. It doesn't make any sense. Can't even argue with people like this. Well, but emboldening people who are uninformed is dangerous as shit. And so what Trump has done is, one, I'll give you a positive and a negative. The positive is that he has, I think, politically awoken a youth in this country.
Yeah. I'll give you another positive, but after.
Give me another positive.
Oh, hood off. We know who they are. Like, you just know.
Yeah,
it's not like it's not sketchy necessarily. I mean, it might still be a little sketchy for you, but I mean, like, as far as like as far as like my community, right, where I'm not going to be the target of it, I'm going to be accidentally party to it by being around somebody. Nope, I know exactly who the fuck they are, and I don't necessarily mean everyone with a MAGA hat as a card carrying KKK member, but like. I don't think you mind them.
No,
like it's.
I don't think it bothers you. I think you think that they should be able to say what.
I am so happy they get to say what they want to say, so I don't have to fucking deal with it. And I can just call them out and make sure they're put on blast for their bad opinions. And
but see, the issue with that is people are generally uninformed, right?
Yeah.
People, I mean, and I don't think it's any. I don't when I say people are, I mean it like with a negative connotation. I just mean like there's a lack of knowledge missing, and the reason is, one, everybody's caught into this cesspool of a system that we have in capitalism. So people are just going to work day to day, and they just that's what they're doing. They're just stuck in that system. and they don't have time to look at the CDC reports on drug use. They don't have time. You know what I'm saying? Like shit that I have the time to do. But it's the dangers of having these talking heads say this kind of stuff. Is because if I have somebody that I feel is good, or I like their personality, then I inherently kind of trust what they say anyway. And it was another critique of I think it was Socrates. This is the second time I've said Socrates in this conversation.
Philosophy majors.
That's what it is. But, Socrates' critique of a democracy was just that people are too uninformed, so that a collective vote doesn't necessarily mean the best course of action. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
that's why it was for the philosopher kings.
Yeah, and so that's which is kind of an elitist mindset, but I don't see a remedy for it.
It's
if I spend all day researching this stuff, I'm a little more informed than a person who has a 9 to 5 and just is a sports lover, because you can only give your time to what you can give your time to. So I'm not saying I'm better. I'm saying I'm more informed. And
yeah, that's why I use my platform the way I do, right? Because I have the time the privilege to be able to spend a little bit of time on this shit. And while someone may only be able to tune in for an hour or so, hopefully they tuned into the hour that I was explaining like a certain how the child transition topic earlier, or how you're talking about how your experience being othered by the Mexican community growing up, and maybe that helps a mixed kid out. Like it's that kind of stuff where we can take the time to introspect and use platforms. So that's why, I guess responsible platforming is kind of important.
1,000%, and that's kind of what I was trying to tell her. Was like you are a huge catalyst. There's like probably 10 to 20 people on both sides that have an extreme responsibility, because the majority of traffic politically is going towards you, and you need to understand that. And so when your ideology isn't based on one, diplomacy, right, or two, rationale, right, then it leads to a rise in flat earthers. Like, for an example, right?
Yeah.
The reason why there's a whole bunch of new flat earthers, people don't understand the basic tenets of science. When I have to explain to somebody, when somebody says gravity is just a theory, I have to explain to you why theory is probably the most like
misused
word. Like, yeah, I don't even know why they do that in science. Like, a bunch of smart motherfuckers did the dumbest shit in the world, right?
Well, we colloquialized it, right? So that's kind of on.
Which one was first, though? Did we use theory? Did we use theory colloquially first,
I guarantee theory came out of a different word.
This is something we could fact check that, my brother.
Look at the etymology of theory. Well, you're doing it already. I'll just watch you.
I'll just watch you do it.
Yeah.
Hope I click on it. So it's Greek in origin.
Yeah, makes sense.
A mental scheme of something to be done. So I think the origin.
Yeah. So my assumption is that this was applied in the correct way for a long time. And then when science obviously co-ops a lot of Latin and Greek for their terminology, so that they can have a standard. And Latin was the language of scholars for years. So what are you saying?
This is saying. So like late 1500s was like just like a conception or mental scheme, and then earlier in this sense was
when we adopted the scientific theory, right?
Sense of principles or methods of science or art, rather than it's first recorded in the 1610s. So that was later. So science adapted this.
Yeah, science co-opted it. And then what I'm assuming happened is, since that happened, we started colloquializing it, like, "Ooh, I have a theory," and like maybe I bet.
No. This is what I'm saying.
Well, no,
that was first. A conception or mental scheme was first. Like, I got a theory.
Well, I know, but like the way language works, I wonder. That'd be interesting. I'd be interested to see the literature in like actual use of it. Is it in theater? I see theater there.
Yeah, theater was there. No, that was like theorizing. So
right. But I mean, like from a colloquial sense, like the way we use language. Do you think people were saying like, "Ooh, I have a theory about that" before?
Yeah, I think that was first.
The theory of like pop science started to be a thing. Like the theory of relativity is what I'm thinking of.
Excuse me. I like this though. When you go to the Merriam-Webster first definition of theory is a plausible or scientifically acceptable general principle. I like that.
Yeah.
That's progressive. That's super progressive.
Yeah. Either way, it's interesting. Someone devote the next 40 hours of your life on researching this, okay?
I'm gonna look it up, dog. I'm proud because it's fascinating to me how the brilliance of science can come up with a stupid mistake like that. You know what I mean? And like I was
I
on
don't
Twitter
think
one
it's going to
time.
be on science, though. I think it's going to be on the rest of us. It's definitely going to be on the rest of us.
So they need to collectively say, okay, this isn't a theory anymore. This is like they need to change. It's just so confusing, and it leads to so much idiocy, right?
Yeah.
Just so annoying. But anyway, that is one of the main reasons, or the main issues with
What's up, Central Committee?
the Trump campaign and the Trump administration and the Trumpism in general is that there is literally alternative facts. Like there's literally things that people view as true because they feel it's true.
I fucking hate the term alternative facts.
It's
I know,
wild.
I know,
and it was
yeah.
uttered in a real conversation. Like
Absolutely. Yep. Shit. I think that might be one of the most damaging parts of this political sort of cycle that we went through is just it was. I think this was bound to happen. I don't necessarily know that it was going to end up just being a right wing thing, but at some point we were going to not be able to handle the amount of information that we were given access to by technology. And it was going to manifest negatively in some way. I don't know.
I feel like that's the time we're living in right now.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly. Yeah. That's
in
what I
100
mean.
years, when they look back, it's like, yo, those fucking cavemen didn't know how to handle the internet. Stupid
Oh
people
yeah,
thinking,
they just think from a social perspective. Everybody thinks that if they have like 100 followers on Twitter, they're like that's a following. Like they have fans.
Yeah.
They have the right to
Yeah.
open a Patreon, and I mean, like I say the right with obviously air quotes, but like they
Right.
think they have like something monetizable, and they think they have like a platform
Right.
worth exposure, and it's just really weird. And I think that's starting to die down. But and not just Twitter, like Facebook is I don't use Facebook. Facebook is a fucking just hive.
I haven't used Facebook since 2009, and I'm glad people.
Yeah, pretty much the same. It's I think I changed my relationship status on it between relationships and nothing else.
That shit was yo. I got off because it was popping in college. So I was in college in 2004, and that first started. That's when Mark Zuckerberg was first robbing those twin swimmers, allegedly. And it was just honestly, it was just really like, yo, you go to shorty and it's gonna happen. Like it was just like this dating site. It was like what the first like dating. That's all it was.
Oh,
dog.
AOL Instant Messenger, same shit.
Yeah, facts. But like
So we're
Facebook
about the
was
same age, so we
unique
grew up around
because
that same shit. Like texting was like a revolutionary sex tool.
Yeah, yeah, but it curated your choices in a way.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It was
Facebook
very,
was
very
different.
unique.
Yeah,
very unique. So it's like, okay, I know all the females that are on this campus, right? I can yo, what I think it was like
The
2010 or 11 when I was looking through my old DMs, and I saw how corny I was.
Oh,
like,
dude, don't ever look at that
with
shit.
my game. My game was so whack. It was the worst shit ever. I was like, no, I don't know how you got any play in college. It was wild. But I got off Facebook because that's what it was, and it turned into this weird place. Like when my grandma friend requested me, my mom was on Facebook, right? My mom's super savvy now too, though. But and it just became weird. It just
I follow her on Twitter. She's a good follow.
messy. Yeah, my mom's is cool, man. It got really messy, man. And I was like, yo, this place ain't for me. It's not serving me at all. And then fast forward to now, how did they come? I know Twitter said they're banning political ads altogether.
Yeah.
Did Facebook have they came around yet or no?
No, Facebook went the opposite direction, man. They basically said like there was we talked about it on stream last night, but there was I guess like a file or whatever. It had like an index of like 18 or 20 different accounts on Facebook that Facebook claimed were genuinely independent of one another by real people, not bots. They had like Russian IP addresses, and they all were uploading the same Ben Shapiro Daily Wire clips within the same 3-minute span, like 180 seconds. They all uploaded the same shit all at the same time, like, and they have the same fucking feeds, and they're under names like American Patriot, fucking Make America Great, true patriotism, like shit like that. It's like
there's a few avies that you got to look out for.
Anime,
with that stupid shit. I've never really come across the anime joke.
Oh, you will.
Anime, okay, anime is one.
Try it. Pick a fight with a fucking anime kid. One of them.
I got you. I got you. I'm gonna do it.
Spend the next 36 hours dealing with anime kids.
If they have a car selfie with sunglasses on.
Oh, and he's white.
Yep. And then
he's wearing a hat, probably.
Dog avies. People with dog avies, dog, are racist. It's the funniest.
You know what else you gotta worry about? White women in wheat fields.
I came across that one,
bro. Yeah, that shit is white nationalist as fuck. That's a dog whistle. Yeah, no.
Yo, you know what I did the other day out of pure boredom?
What's that?
I looked into the QAnon shit.
Oh no.
Holy shit, dog.
Dude, those people are next fucking. That's some Kyrie Irving shit.
Holy shit, dog. That was depressing though, because it was like there's no metric for truth.
Yeah, no. They just say things.
Yeah, and it's just like, and I honestly think, dog, that Trump knows about this QAnon thing, and he's fucking playing with them.
Oh
or
yeah,
he's feeding into the shit. That's just a theory.
Well, so he sometimes plays into like he'll tweet something from one of these accounts that's a QAnon account, right? And he'll be like, the deep state is working against Trump's presidency, and like, I don't know if he knows the QAnon theory. I just think he sees someone that's sort of sucking his dick, and he's like, oh, I'm a narcissist. Yeah, I'm gonna retweet that, right? But I think it definitely plays into it. I don't know if he's doing it on purpose, but
nah, it's a weird time to be alive, man. Like, Donald Trump is the president of the United States of America, dog.
Yeah. You know, it'd be fine if we took care of it immediately, right? If we were like, okay, let's check ourselves real quick. Let's see. He violated the emoluments clause. Okay. He violated this. He's got like 13 sexual assault cases open. The state of New York has multiple cases against him. He's got fraud cases. He's got cases in which he is I guess this is still emoluments, but giving out places at different Trump resorts to elected officials around the world and diplomats. Maybe we should address this. Like, Jimmy Carter was forced to sell his fucking peanut farm, guys.
Yep. I don't know, man. The interesting thing is like, when you're having any kind of debate, and this is why I think Ben Shapiro's a piece, is because he was talking to somebody. I think it was Dave Rubin, and he's talking to. Yeah, it was an interesting conversation.
The one where he basically straight up to Dave Rubin said, "I don't think that it's okay that you're gay."
No, not that one. That was a different one. That was hilarious. To have a bigot friend, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
But he said basically if they were talking about the transgender issue, and it was like, if there was a transgender person sitting across from me and it was just a one-on-one or we had dinner or something, I'm not going to misgender them.
Oh yeah, but he says I lose the argument if I do. Right?
Yeah, but I'm not going to give leverage in that.
Yep.
And I'm like, dog, you're willing to be a piece of shit for a fucking political leverage talking point?
Mm-hmm.
That is insanity, dog. And I forgot the point I was making with that.
I don't know, but it's fucked up. Something with Donald Trump, but he does that kind of shit too. I don't know that he knows. I don't know that he would gender someone correctly though.
There was a really good point I had with that, but CTE.
Do you think you actually have that?
I don't think so, but
no. Have you had any concussions? Well, I mean, obviously you've had concussions, but I mean like
plenty.
I've had concussions too, and I feel dumb as fuck all the time. So maybe that's it.
Yeah. Like sometimes, like what scares me about CTE is that there'll be instances where, I'm a happy fucking dude. Like when I say happy, like I'm a happy.
I've experienced this firsthand.
You've seen it,
are
right?
a pretty genuinely happy guy, yeah.
And it's just like it's rare. Like I don't think there's much that could ever fuck with me. But they'll be in the last like 2 years, and it's gotten better since I kind of started changing my eating habits. So that might have something to do with, I don't know, anecdotal. But where there'll be instances where
It's like a mood swing.
like 2-3 hours of the day, I'm just like, dog, nothing makes me happy. It's just like this funk that it's like, why are you upset? I'm sitting here psychoanalyzing myself. Like, why are you upset? Like, what's going on? You good? Your baby's good. Your mom's good. Everybody's happy. Yada yada yada.
And then you're upset that you're upset.
And it's not even that I'm upset or upset. It's just like I can't find joy in anything.
Yeah.
Like I'll listen to music that I love. Fuck this music. I'll watch fuck that. I'll go outside. I'm like, it's stupid. Like it's just everything is
And
just
this is
like
new
negative.
for you?
Yeah, hell yeah. I've
Yeah,
never like
that could
I don't.
be-
That's not me. I don't know. Like
You think it
I
could
hope-
be coupled? Only in the last 2 years could be coupled with retirement in general and just kind of the new lifestyle.
But I didn't really like football like that.
Well, I know. No, I know, but like there is a big difference between going from that shit and it's very regimented to like kind of like your book's open and you kind of just you get to choose your shit.
I mean,
guess.
I could be. I just don't know. The issue I have with it is I think the positive from it is this. I know exactly when it happens, so it's not like I'm unaware. And so like my lady knows too, and so I'll tell her, or she'll know. I'll be like, yo, I just need like I don't know, like not right now, like I just need some time or whatever.
How
and she's like, okay, I got you.
How often do you think this happens?
It's less frequent. So like about a year, 2 years ago, it was like probably like 4 or 5 times in a year. And that's
not bad.
Shitting me, bro.
Yeah, I get like that too. So I mean,
maybe I'm just being a human. I don't know.
Nah, like I've had one really, really, really shitty day, and it was on my birthday, and I don't even know why. I just felt fucking shitty. And my girlfriend Sarah was like upset. She was like, "Are you fucking okay?" Like. And the next day, I was just like, let's just go somewhere. And we went and drove around, and we went on like a little mini vacation spontaneously, and I was fine after that. I really haven't had a bad day since, but like, I think it happens to everybody. I don't know. Hopefully it's not related to brain injury for you.
I mean, me too.
I've seen you get hit pretty hard a couple times. I'm sure you remember a
few
of them, but like,
1,000%. I know exactly what it feels like to have a concussion. I've played in games with concussions before.
Yeah. Dude, concussions suck. The worst part's the next day, in my opinion.
I never really experienced that part of it, but what I experienced was for a good 5 to 10 minutes, you have no clue what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You have an idea, and this is the scary part, dog. We were playing Indianapolis Colts on Thursday night, 2015.
Oh, fuck those Thursday games, am I right?
They're stupid as hell. Am I right?
If they came off after a bye, I think they'd be okay.
Nah, I think they're shitty. It doesn't matter.
They're shitty either way? All right.
100%.
Well, fuck me. What do I know?
Fine. So we were playing on Thursday night,
I appreciate you, buddy.
And I got a concussion. Dude hit me on the side, and it was one of those concussions where you're locked up, and you're like, your fist, like my head goes back, and my fists are like balled up.
What year was that?
2015.
Did they have the fucking skybox people?
Yes, and so this is what happened. So they bring me off, and I was like, I'm good. I just hit my shoulder. I was a tough guy or whatever, which was fucking stupid. That whole culture shit is anyway.
Yeah, no, I've been there. I've been there too. Yeah,
so annoying.
Sports in general is just that, and I can't imagine that fucking what's on the line for you guys. Like when you get all that money and shit. Like,
it's your livelihood is literally
more
on
than
the
pride.
line.
I've only ever played for pride, so
yeah, it's way more than pride. It's everything.
Yeah.
But so anyway, they pull me outside. We have to put you in concussion protocol. We have to do this. And I was like, I'm good. I just hit my shoulder. So I was like, I don't know if you ever GIF or GIF, man. I don't know, man.
GIF. We've had this argument.
Whatever, bro. I don't agree. I don't agree.
I think the guy that did it said you could say GIF.
Yeah, it's as well as
throwing. What? Throwing water bottle?
GIF, yeah.
Wait, you did this when you were concussed? Is that what it was?
Yeah. Anyway, what the fuck?
Is there a gif of you throwing a water bottle?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Side note, what an amazing haircut that was.
What, that? The short?
You missed it, but that's just cool. It's cool.
This is a short haircut.
No, it was amazing. That was the fade was amazing. I can't find it.
Then
Anyway,
get it again. What? I don't know.
no, I'm growing it out. I'm growing it out.
Why? What are you doing?
Just growing it out, man. Just
You got plans for it?
I got the beard. I got the beard going. You know what I mean? No, I got no plans. Maybe I'll try to lock it, but
You gonna try locks?
anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna try to lock it up. But
Right.
anyway, I was pissed. I threw the water bottle down, and I went into concussion protocol, and I know what concussion protocol is because there's a test you take before. It's a baseline test that you take before every season.
Yeah.
And this is how scary it was. I knew I had a concussion. I knew it. It's like it looks like you're looking through glass. Sometimes your extremities get numb. You have trouble remembering things. But for some odd reason, dog, I go to do the baseline test, and I remember every single. I know exactly what question was coming.
Yeah.
Like, and they're asking me questions. And I just know. I know. Like, it felt like I was an autopilot, right? And it was scary to me because I was like, in my mind, I'm thinking, how are you answering this? You are definitely concussed. But I was sitting there answering all the questions. They make you get on a computer and you have to pick. It's like pattern recognition shit. Like, it's kind of like IQ test. And I'm doing all of this stuff.
You're just too big brained. You're too big brained for concussions.
That's what it sounds like, right? I'm tooting my own horn, but that's not the case. To me, it was like the fallacy in the concussion protocol. Because when they first asked me why they took me back, they said, "What's today?" And I was like struggling. I was like, "Fucking, what is today? I don't even know." And it was like, "All right, come back." I was like, "Nah, but come on, you could ask me that regular, and I wouldn't know at all." But then the computer test came, and that's what it freaked me the fuck out because I didn't miss a beat. I think I actually got a better score than my baseline, which was wild.
Randy in my comments is a doctor, and he seems surprised that they put concussed people on a computer.
I mean, I'm not a doctor. He is.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that not?
Yeah, Randy's in our football chat, by the way.
Okay,
same
great.
guy. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's interesting. I
guess that could trigger like what, epilepsy or something like that.
I don't know. It seems weird that
Like
you'd
a
look at a
seizure?
screen, I suppose, but
Yeah, like
the eye strain is not advised. He says, "Huh."
Wow, I never thought about that.
Yeah, me
But
either,
that makes perfect sense about how the NFL is stupid. Makes fucking perfect sense.
So, in my experience, I've had probably less concussions. I only had one in football. It was on a fumble recovery. I recovered it, okay? But it wasn't worth it. I got a concussion. Someone sprayed me in the fucking brain. And I didn't do the balled up thing, but it hurt for like 2 days. But then, and I've had one from getting elbowed in basketball, like on a rebound. And
Right.
then I got into a car accident, and that one split my fucking head open. That I blacked the fuck out. I don't really remember a lot. I remember we hadn't eaten lunch, and I remember being really fucking hungry and fixating on the fact that, like, because I'm like 14, and I'm like, fuck, I just really wanted that sandwich.
Yeah.
And I told this story. I remember being like, fuck, I'm a virgin. No, I can't die. I'm fucked. And then the next day, I was nauseous like the whole day from the concussion, and my eyes hurt, and then it took like 4 or 5 days for me to actually like snap out of it. It's kind of weird that it only took me that long, and there's some guys in the NFL that like Jordan Reed, for instance. That dude has so many problems with concussions.
Yeah,
he's out for weeks at a time, and hopefully, I think he's done. But like,
He's done this year. I think they put him on IR.
Dude, I
But
don't know why
it's
the dude keeps going back. Like, you got your money. Like,
man,
quit
some people,
sacrificing your
bro,
body,
some
man.
people like, and this is what I realized, man, in the league was like, man, some people that's all they have and it's all they know, and like so doing anything else is like foreign. Like I'm like you're a child, and like this thing has brought you out of poverty. It's gotten you everything that you know. And I'm not saying this is Jordan Reed's case. I'm just saying in general, like some people can't like I and this is a very
Think it's a little
blanket
Stockholm
statement.
syndrome.
1,000%, and that's a big variable. And another thing is you spend your entire life cultivating one skill set
Yeah,
that you neglect everything else, and
it could probably be scary for a lot of guys.
it's I got 1,000%. I know a bunch of dudes retired from the NFL and that have like either like gone really downhill, or they're just like abusive, or they, you know, it's a lot of different factors, and it's sad. It's a weird dynamic too, because a lot of times we view monetary gains as success in this country, and so when you have that, the hierarchy in your family goes to that, right? So whoever's the most successful is the one with the most money, and so everybody kind of goes to them for their problems and stuff. But when you are the breadwinner in your family and you're having mental health issues and you're having all this other stuff, it's not commonplace. It takes an emotionally intelligent human being to be like, yo, I'm struggling with this, to somebody who's lower on the hierarchy than you, right? Which is an interesting dynamic socially in general. But
that seems like a symptom of capitalism for sure.
1,000%, which is why I'm not a fan of it. I think it's ran its course. I think it's.
I'm definitely right now. I'm a proponent for moving towards.
Send the link, Cliffy. Send the link in the chat.
What are they sending us?
He found the GIF of me throwing the water bottle.
GIF.
GIF, whatever, bro. Fuck. Damn.
That's gonna be our hot dog sandwich argument forever. I feel like.
I mean,
that's gonna be it.
Hold on, we gonna figure it out right now.
I will let you say GIF, but GIF feels.
This was funny. This was funny as hell, dog. I got it. Aaron Foster in a hot dog stand showdown over N-word insult.
Wait, did you throw hands at a guy?
Nah, I was like, oh wait, hold on.
Is that?
Sorry for the volume. Yeah, I gotta watch the ad on TMZ. We finna pay TMZ really quick.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm sure you're happy to do that.
No question.
Wait, someone. Okay, I guess you explain this after.
All right, so look.
Someone talking shit.
All right, so this is what happened, dog. This is what happened. We were. There's a really good hot dog stand. Like,
Dude, that shirt's pretty great.
It's not bad actually. we were at a hot dog stand, and okay, so this is my father, right? That's my dad. Okay. This is my brother, and that's my girl, the one that y'all just saw me with the handshake.
Yeah.
So what happened? We were at a hot dog stand, and
wait, this is recent?
No, this was like 2016, something like that.
Oh, all right.
But I just saw the picture, and so B-Roll, what's up, fam? And so so we was at a hot dog stand, and some dude was like, he was like, yo, it was weird as fuck actually. I'm thinking about it. He's like, yo, man, joke with me, man. Let's do that. I was like, I promise you don't want to do that. And he was like, yo, this is yeah, like joke, like I don't know how you explain, like kicking the dozens. What did y'all call it? Like when you just sit in a circle and you just clown on each other.
Wait, is some random guy though?
Thing. Yeah, some random dude. And it's not really commonplace.
Is that a thing that?
Yeah, for sure, it's a thing.
I'm assuming this is a black community specific thing.
It is for us. I never really thought about it elsewhere.
Where random people are like, "Hey, come have a really awkward."
No, and it's not random. It's usually with people you know. It's just.
Oh, okay.
Like, we were all drunk, and he was like, "Yo, let's." Yeah, he was like, "Yo, let's throw some jokes," and I was like,
"Oh, all right."
I was like, you don't want to do that because like, I am gonna toot my own horn here. It's like I'm witty, dog. Like that's what I do. I
You're
kick
pretty
cousins,
fucking
right?
funny.
I'm witty, dog. And so like I enjoy joking. Yeah, roasting sessions. And so like
Oh yeah, we
so
do that.
like,
I thought it was some random dude. I was like, that is not a thing.
No, it was
with your
random dude.
friends. Okay.
I think that's what's happening. Is maybe I was like clowning on my brother, and like they wanted to chime in. I was like, oh,
gotcha.
That's what happened.
That's happened. Where a guy thinks he's in, but he's not in.
Right.
Okay,
and
no, that's
so,
a thing.
yeah.
Okay, all right.
And so then I was like, bro, this ain't what you, because like I do this, like, and I've gotten under people's skin before, and I know how it goes because I poke at people, right?
Yeah.
I used to anyway. And so
Does
but I was like, a random stranger is not going to understand my sense of humor. It's kind of twisted, right?
Do you have the
And so he's gonna get his
where your mouth just starts saying words and it's too fast for yourself to like check yourself?
Nah, it's just like I'm gonna joke you where you are. I do like I don't know how else to explain this. I aim to kill when I joke.
That helps the rap career though, right?
I'm going for the jugular, dog. Anyway, so I was like, fuck it, let's do it. You want to do it? You do it. So I started clowning this dude.
Yeah.
And his people are starting to laugh at the jokes, right? And start getting on him. And then he gets all mad, and then he says nigga, right?
Ooh. Wait, was he a black guy?
Nah, he was Mexican.
Oh, and that's a sore spot already.
Right. And so then, but I wasn't even like, that's my brother. Wow. So what happened was,
oh, that looks like a punch if you freeze frame it. I see. Okay,
yeah, no, it wasn't a punch.
That's fucked up. That's course
that's my
TMZ
brother.
did that shit. Abdul, right?
Yeah, that's my brother. So what happened was, he said nigga, and I'm like, come on, fam, like, yeah, you don't need to do all that. And he's like, what, man? It's just a word. I'm like, I'm not getting into this. All that hot dogs. You. And it was like 1 in the morning, right? And my dad was in town, and we all went out. Great fucking time.
I love it.
And he had a friend that chimed in because my girl and my brother's girl was like trying to like ease the situation. It was like, yo, everybody just calm down, relax. And he came in and he was like, you need to check these bitches. These bitches are like, started doing that shit. And that's when my brother lost it and he pushed Buddy, and Buddy was then they started retreating. Yeah. It started. But this was funny about this type of shit right here. They'll start the shit, right?
Oh yeah.
We ready to finish this shit. Then when the police get called, like they're like, oh, we were just shut up. Shut up, bro. But anyway, that was a random tangent.
Wait, there was a TMZ person. Wait, that must have been a random person that sent it.
No. What happened was TMZ for some reason does not fuck with me. No, they don't fuck with me, like personally. Anything that has ever happened, like you can just type in Aaron Foster TMZ, and any transgression that has happened in my life since the limelight, it's on TMZ. They don't fuck with me for some reason. It's because I don't like them, actually. Matter of fact, I should show you one of these DMs I got from TMZ. Matter of fact, hold on, let me pull that up.
Should you show us a DM? I don't know. Make sure to hide the other shit in the meantime.
I'm gonna hide the screen. It's funny though, dog. Cause like I told them too. I was like, y'all are whack. Watch.
Was it a Twitter DM?
Cause they just like little fucking.
See, this is we deal with different types of fame. You deal with actual like traditional media fame. I deal with weird parasocial relationships.
Like what?
So you have like people fucking bothering you when you're out with your kids, when you're at a restaurant. You got people asking for your fucking autograph and shit, and sounds terrible. My version is people think they're like they have a lot of rapport with me and that we're like close friends because I'm genuinely pretty nice to most people here. Right. And like most people don't take it across the line. Most people know where it is. But I've had people invite themselves over to my fucking house. I've had people like get in my DMs and expect a certain sort of reciprocation from me and shit. Assuming that we're close because I put myself out on the internet a lot. I don't know.
It's just
weird shit. I wouldn't trade you, but it's interesting seeing the different types that we deal with. And you're gonna start getting that because of the Twitch thing at some point, but
oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna start getting the because it's a more personal platform where you can talk. Like I can call someone out. I can be like, "Hey, Ronnie Alley, thank you for whatever that is," and I can have like a short conversation, and it feels like really close, but. We're still like thousands of miles away, and I'm on my platform, and you're at home, and yeah, I don't know. It's like it's a weird thing. Kind of
nice.
Like I feel like the closest thing to that is when people give you shit on
Ramble was just a gorilla.
like in like person for like your fantasy output or some shit.
Yeah, no, it's super wild. Watch here. Look at this. Look at this.
All right.
Look at this. They said this is TMZ Live. DM me because with Bob McNair said the inmates run the asylum. Like it got a lot of play, right? Like and for people that don't know, the owner he actually died of the Texans. He was the owner.
He died of racism.
You silly dog. I ain't touching that one. But no, he died. But he had made a comment that said the inmates run the asylum.
I remember this shit.
And so they DM me and say, "Hey, Arian, we're doing a story today on climate in the NFL regards to the national anthem. We wanted to see if you're available for 5-minute Skype interview, blah, 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 blah. We'd like to touch on Bob McNair's thoughts on this. We'd love to get your opinion. Are you available? Blah, blah, blah.
We're a
big fan
of yours.
So we'd be thrilled to have you on the show." So
That's
I
great.
hit him back and said, "Fuck y'all, you ain't no fan of mine."
That's great.
It's my ass.
That's really good.
Because every time something had happened in my had a story about it, they ran that shit. And even like the baby mom situation, they was the pushing that shit like crazy. And I'm like, man, fuck y'all.
Yeah.
Kiss my ass.
That's
hold on, let me my guy sent the GIF. Hold on, this was it. There it goes. Yep, that's it. When I had to go back. I was pissed.
I do not remember this.
Yeah, it was Thursday night. I was pissed. So
wait,
this guy right here.
Wait. Who the fuck is that guy? Is that the sideline reporter?
No. His name is Emmett. He was like security. So like he was like the guy that like made sure like nobody's like on some FBI shit. They wouldn't run on the field and like shit like that.
Oh, sure. And you got him with a water bottle.
Yeah, it's my fault. This is really asshole-ish, actually, man. I'm not.
To be fair, you're sort of browned out there with your concussion.
There you go. We'll go with that. Yeah, we'll go with that, man. We'll go with that for sure.
Hey,
we'll go with that.
If you've never thrown a water bottle on the sidelines of a football game, are you a real football player? Let's be real.
Definitely are. You're definitely 1,000% are.
Wait, you said you can? You can.
Yeah, you can.
Without emotional outbursts and being rude to people?
Yeah, it's possible, man. It's possible. It's possible.
All right, I don't believe you, but, you know. You were the professional, so maybe I should.
Argument of authority.
We did it.
Another fallacy.
What the fuck else do we have on here? I mean, I could talk
We had a
we got a lot. I think we went past the impeachment. We kind of talked about Trump. I assume we want him to be impeached.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
yeah.
That dude is just, I don't know, man. Like even if like you're talking to like a Republican who, that's not true, Quasar. So a guy in my chat says, appeal to authority is only fallacious if the authority isn't related to the counter of the content area, which is not true.
No, that's not true.
You have to address the argument as is. It has nothing to do with who or what he is. You address the specific argument. That's what the fallacy is.
Yeah, like you can't say like I'm an astrophysicist, so whatever I say on astrophysics is correct, because the astrophysicist could definitely tell you a lie or just get something wrong. And it wouldn't make it correct. So yeah.
Exactly.
I guess talking on the effects of fame, we could talk about Kanye. Oh boy. Okay, so part of this Kanye phenomenon, who let's get out in front of that talented artist, made some
one of the greatest of my generation.
Made some great music. Not so much recently, but
I like 2 songs of him, man. I like 2 songs on that album. Which is mad weird
for a Kanye album, yeah.
No, which is mad weird because it's a Jesus album.
Well, sure, but I mean, like, it's still Kanye, right? I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So
I'm with you.
He does suffer from bipolar disorder.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important to know. It is a mental health issue. But beyond that, nobody in this dude's fucking life is telling him no about anything ever.
Well, it's like I think it's deeper than that, man. I think it's deeper. Yeah, yes, that's definitely a variable. But I think one of the big issues is yes, follow God is one of the ones. Follow God, and we have everything we need. Those are my two that was. Those are bangers, man. But one of the issues is what it's a microcosm of what I see with America right now. You have no metric and you have no way to discern what is true and what's not true, right? Because you automatically discount the scientific method because it doesn't feel good with you and your religious beliefs. And so that opens up a floodgate to inaccuracies in thought, right? And it's what Candace Owens is making a living.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you talk about, and this is why I hate like the report, I've talked about this on my stream a little bit, was like when I hate when the reporters, the interviewers are talking to Kanye and nobody checks him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody fact checks him. Nobody.
He's
It's
like a monolith.
easily debunkable things that he's saying. He's talking about the Republicans are the ones that freed the slaves and yada yada. It's like, yeah, yes, that's accurate, Kanye, but the context in which you're saying it is entirely in. Right.
Yeah.
And then you talk about the party switch and how that happened. Like those kind of things that are just ahistorical is what his narrative is being driven on. And the fact that he doesn't have the foundation to understand what is true and what is not true. So all he sees is.
All he sees is what? Uh-oh. Did I lose you? Uh-oh. We lost him, chat. Yeah, let me join. Did that work? Rip.
Jake. Lost Jake.
Rip. You can hear me?
You back?
I can't hear you through Discord, but I can hear you
I can
on your
hear
stream. So
I can't hear you through
Discord, but I can
what I
hear
think
you. Should do is maybe close out Discord altogether, like close the whole program and open it back up and see if that works.
All right, hold on.
Wait, did he just come back? I had muted him and he came back.
What about now?
Hey, you're back. Okay,
interesting. You see, that
was weird.
That's the government, man, trying to.
Yep, it's the deep state.
The deep state's trying. Did you hear anything I said?
I did not.
Oh man, I went on a long.
I saw that you went on a rant. Yeah.
Dan, so you're chatting.
Easily debunkable, and the Republicans and the party switch, and then it dropped.
Oh, that was pretty close. Okay, yeah. So so what he's doing is he's operating from an ideology that isn't rooted in facts anymore, and he compartmentalizes it as the same thing as how he got his start, right? He compartmentalizes it as, okay, when he said George Bush doesn't care about black people, and he got criticism for that. It's like, oh, this is just because, ironically enough, Kanye West has kind of always been ahead of the times, right? He was the first rapper in hip hop to be anti-homophobic, right? And so he's going against the grain. He's used to going against the grain. When everybody was talking about like thug stuff in hip hop, he was like on polo shirts and backpacks and like, that he's always been against the grain. And so in his mind, it's the same thing. They'll catch up. But in reality, you've just found surface level conservatism, and what you're doing is ahistorical, and it's not rooted in any kind of empirical data. Like, and it's irrational. It's extremely irrational. And the issue with it is anytime I find my ideologies aligning with a KKK member, I have to check that. right? Like there has to be something. Why is this a thing? Why do we believe the same thing? And he doesn't have that rationale because his ideology is rooted in one, Christian values, right?
Yeah.
Which isn't rooted in any kind of empirical anything. But it's based on feeling. And the reason why he's such a great artist is because of how he feels. And so it's hard for me to try to moderate that or mitigate that.
I guess that makes sense. Do you think he's a narcissist?
That's a term that I used to feel like I knew, but my lady has been digging into it, right? Because I mean, she's been reading books and all kind of stuff on it, and I thought it meant something like just being, self-centered, like egotistical, but it doesn't really mean that. It's like a concerted effort to manipulate people. And so when I
that you're something you're not, I think.
Yeah, you're a good person, or that they're the creator. That you gaslight people, which means
that's why I think it applies to Trump, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he is a narcissist, absolutely. Yeah. But it's like a concerted effort to manipulate somebody into believing things, especially about them. So I don't think that's Kanye. I think that he understands brand value. I think that he is a capitalist. I think that he
so you think a lot of it's like a bit?
Some of it, some like the rants and stuff, he knows when to do it, and he only does it when he has something to sell. But I think in his genuine nature, he believes what he's saying is the correct thing.
Yeah.
A lot of the time narcissists understand that that's not the case, but they just want
like validation.
Yeah, well, not necessarily validation. They just want that friction.
Oh, okay.
It's part of what they do. And like she remains unconvinced that like if you're a true narcissist that you can never come back from that. Like she thinks that like if you're a narcissist, you're a narcissist. But
it's like a clinical like
it's a thing. Yeah. It's a thing. My issue with Kanye is what I just said was you have a huge platform, dog. Like you that lends itself to a responsibility that you have to take upon yourself, and you have to care enough about the people that you're influencing to have an informed opinion, right? So at least like I guarantee if I sit down with Kanye West, there's no way he can intellectually explain to me how the Republicans are the ones that freed the slave. There's no way. He'll go off on a tangent. He'll go off on red herrings. I guarantee it. And if that's the case, if you cannot sit there and explain your position to me with literal like receipts and papers and because this shit has been studied for generations, then you shouldn't be talking about it. It's like the transgender issue. I don't know much about it, so I don't talk about it much. I'll give you my opinion, but it's not based on a lot of foundation. It's based on how I feel, and I understand how people are marginalized. And so I tend to lean toward empathy. But I'm not going to give you nothing else than that because it's not my bag.
Yeah. I think the best way to go about anything is if there's someone that seems marginalized, try to just be decent to them and then learn about it as much as you can. And come out of it however you're going to come out of it, but usually if you start with a good base of empathy, like you said, I think that's usually the perfect spot to come out of it.
And it always has been.
Dr. Randy said something very interesting. People with pathological narcissism/narcissistic personality disorder will pretty consistently kill themselves if you shatter that thought pattern for them. That's fucking wild.
That is wild.
Like to think that they're
read that to me one more time.
So people with pathological narcissism personality disorder will pretty consistently kill themselves if you shatter that thought pattern for them. So is the treatment even to narcissism even to talk them down from their bullshit, or is it to acquiesce? That's interesting.
That's the thing. No, it's definitely you cannot acquiesce. I think that that would enable them. And saying this is asterisk. This is all opinion because I'm not clinically diagnosing anybody with narcissism because it's a real thing, and that's diving into narcissism has.
It is mental health, like it's a mental illness.
Yes,
so it's like
yes,
important to
yes,
understand that.
yes.
Again, coming from empathy to try to not be
Yes.
a piece of shit to somebody that can't necessarily control it, but yeah.
Yes, yes. I tend to lead towards empathy, but I draw the line when I feel like I'm being taken advantage of.
Or
right?
sure, or someone's
And I'll
harming
tell you
somebody.
that.
Like pedophilia
Yeah,
is another one of those examples where it's like
Yeah.
they can't necessarily control it, but like I have no fucking sympathy for you if you
Yeah.
cross a line. Like, and it's
that's another hot take I had that can be misconstrued, and because I had Paul Wall on my podcast, and we were talking about how his father is one.
Yeah.
And he's like, he don't fuck with dude and yada yada yada. But it kind of goes along with what we're talking about when I say there's nothing I can do to stop me being attracted to
women
and
whoever you're attracted to.
A certain type of woman, right? I have a preference, right? There's nothing I can do. Like I see one and I'm attracted to it.
Yeah.
If that's the case with pedophiles, if we're looking at physical attraction like that, if that's the case, there's nothing they can do.
Yeah. Some people do claim it's a fetish. I don't know that. I haven't read the literature on it, but that's.
So what's what would be the definition? I mean, the differentiation between fetish and attraction.
A fetish would be something that isn't necessarily inborn; it's cultivated, so it doesn't have the excuses that it would if it was like an orientation, right?
So because I'm attracted to, let's just say, like when I type in Pornhub, I go to mature, right? That's my thing, right?
Oh yeah.
Don't judge me. It is what it is. So I go to mature. Like, is that a fetish, or is that something I'm genuinely attracted to?
I think it can be a little bit of both. That's why it's such a hard conversation when you talk about it. Like, there's certain people that are just like they're in a camp because it's a very emotional topic, and I totally understand that. I mean, you have kids.
Yeah, no,
like,
I do.
Like, I mean, like I'd fly off the handle if anybody hurt a kid, and like. I can't imagine as a parent. So like no one's necessarily
one of my guys said mature gang in the house.
no one's like condoning the action. I mean, there are some people, but they're usually pedophiles too. But like like it's not the action. It's like think of it before any action takes place and try to eliminate the emotion. Assume they're telling the truth, because most of the reporting that comes back is I can't control how I feel about this. And there's a lot of pedophiles who like don't act on it, and they choose to take hormone therapy to reduce their sex drive, stuff like that.
Which is admirable, right?
Right, and they say that they like need to do these extreme things, and so it makes me inclined to think that like, okay, there's probably some validity to at least a number of them, whatever the percentage may be. Let's say it's half. Are genuine when they say like this is an attraction, it's not a fetish, it's a thing I deal with on a day-to-day basis, blah blah blah. Just treating that with as much empathy as we can try to do. I think it makes a lot more sense to be proactive rather than reactive. I don't want to wait for someone to prey on a child. I'd rather be uncomfortable with an adult or a teenager or whatever that's dealing with this than be mourning or trying to rehabilitate someone that's at the hands of one of these people. So it doesn't make sense to just vilify and push away until someone acts, of course. I feel like compassion is the best way to deal with most mental health, regardless of how hardcore it is, right?
That's triggering, right? That's triggering to say be compassionate to a pedophile, right? But
of course,
but I because I saw it, like when I said it in the comments, they're like, "No, you're enabling pedophilia, and these fuckers are blah blah blah." And I was like, "Yo, I get it. Like, it's abhorrent to me. Like, I have 2 little daughters, 2 little boys. That would be something that would probably lose my freedom over if that ever happened to them. Like, I would probably.
I love that. That's how you frame it.
Dog. What do you mean?
Every time you talk about I guess imprisonment, you say lose my freedom over. I don't know. I dig that that's the framing under which you put it. Oh, it's true. I just like it. Thing. Yeah.
Because I mean, I've dealt with a lot of shit in my life to where it's like not thinking like that you can easily lend yourself to the situation that you're in just to be involved in it and not think about the consequence. But I would no doubt probably lose my freedom over that shit. So it's abhorrent. I think it's disgusting, but they're here, right? people. Child sex trafficking is one of the biggest businesses in the world. I'm talking about multi-billion-dollar business. And so there's a demand for it. And what that tells me is that people are attracted to kids. So where I draw the line of freedom is when you're infringing on other people, right? And a big thing of that is like you're not allowing, just to intellectually combat a pedophile, it's like you're not allowing a child to progress sexually in a way that they choose. You're preying on them, right? And so I'm not necessarily saying it's inherently evil to have a thought. I don't think there's such thing as thought crimes. I've thought some crazy fucking shit, but I don't act upon them, right? I don't think it's inherently an evil thought. I think the acting out of it is evil. And if you don't understand what you're taking away from that child, that's when it becomes a problem to me. You can think whatever the fuck you want to think. I don't agree with the thought, but you can think it. But demonizing people to the point where thinking about it is evil, to me, that lends itself to not being able to set up safe havens for people to combat the issues that they have internally with it, to enable some kind of
preventative measures, I guess.
Yeah, preventative measures. It's cutting that off before it even starts.
Yeah,
because you're uncomfortable with the thought. The thoughts are there, or else it wouldn't be $1 billion business. It's there.
Yeah,
children get kidnapped every single day, so we might as well deal with the problem.
I guess we deal with psychopaths in a way that is like, if you can identify it early, like if a kid is like, being violent towards animals and shit, or exhibiting certain behaviors, it's a proactive thing that we try to deal with. And I mean, viscerally speaking, we put one worse than the other, but like the effect isn't necessarily terribly different depending on what the crimes are from the psychopath, right? So like I totally understand the emotional aspect of it from most people. Like, every time this subject comes up, there's people in comment sections of whatever video it is or whatever stream, and they're just like, they're blasting off. They're like, fuck those people, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, we don't have to, like, we all agree, right? We don't have to necessarily, it's almost like a virtue signal when it's something that simple, right? Like, we
100%.
understand.
Real quick, this is a great point somebody brought up in my chat, dog. Thank you so much for sharing this. Somebody said, when I was a little girl, my bro was really weird toward me, and I tried to tell people, but my parents were afraid to do anything with the info because I could change someone's life to even seek the treatment. He said it turns out later he had a massive brain tumor around his stem. And that's
that shit.
My main point is like, we don't know what's going on neurologically with people. Like, there's an issue. Obviously, there's an issue. But to pretend like it's just inherent and you're an evil human being, I feel like it's hustling backwards, man.
Yeah, and I guarantee there's some cases where it's like, I'm going to use the word nurtured, but probably like, there's trauma behind them that causes a certain thing. But like, it's not irreducibly complex there. Like there had to be like a situation in human history where the pedophile happened without any trauma, right? Otherwise, you'd never have one. So, like, it's not just because, like, you can't just blame trauma on a thing, nor can you use trauma as a defense against a thing, because, like, it's a thing that we have to deal with. So, I mean, like, yeah, I think it's important to be proactive. We stigmatize so many things. Like, drug addiction's a great example of a thing we stigmatize so much. Like, the war on drugs and that whole shit. Like, that, obviously, the minority communities in this country have dealt with the brunt of that, but
no question.
Just anybody facing addiction, like we have a huge opioid thing that spans class and race in this country and like kind of across the world, but a lot in this country because we overprescribe, because we don't allow non-opioid pain management legally in a lot of states. And so I think that's a thing we need to stop stigmatizing as well, specifically is like drug abuse.
I mean, I think we need to legalize drugs altogether. Like,
I agree.
It's the dumbest shit in the world.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of drugs that I wouldn't want available to people in. So there's
nothing.
There's drugs like marijuana where I think like if we're gonna legalize alcohol, that's our bar, right? Marijuana comes under it for me. I think there's lots of other drugs like psilocybin, I think, that you could probably legalize in a similar fashion, which is like mushrooms and hallucinogens.
No question.
So our bars, alcohol, that's stuff that you could just like, once you're 21, you can buy it in a fucking gas station. Fine with that. There's also drugs that I think we have to like reschedule and make
100%.
make and not just
weed
like
is still a class one.
class yeah, absolutely. But I mean like in a new, like, we're not talking about giving it to people in their homes necessarily. What I'm thinking is like someone that's like heroin, methamphetamine, stuff like that, that hard shit. That kills people on their first try sometimes because, you know, dosing is so fucking whack. Have a safe place with medical professionals where you can do it both recreationally if you'd like. Like if you want to go take some meth, tell you what, we got this place, we got medical professionals, whatever. But
it makes perfect sense.
If you're addicted to heroin or any other opiate or meth or whatever, anything that's hyper addictive like that, like, I don't care what you do with your own body, right? One of the big problems with drug use is that it tends to spill out into other avenues because people usually, to support the habit, have to commit crimes and shit. But if you allow it only in these safe places and you put it as part of healthcare and shit, you can have an emphasis on rehabilitation and trying to save people instead of stigmatizing them and putting them on the fucking streets. We treat people. I think that's the best way to do it, because the argument that gun nuts use that they don't, which is obviously totally the opposite of drug use because it's something you do to other people, not yourself. The criminals will find a way. Well, yeah, same thing with fucking drugs, dude. There's a huge market for
such
drugs.
A fallacy, though. It's just like, so why do we have laws against killing?
Of course, right?
Killers are gonna find a way. That's just stupid.
You think the only reason I'm not killing people is because I'll do 20 to life?
Yeah,
like, no fucking way.
Dumb as hell.
Yeah. And so yeah, I think the best, legalize everything that you possibly can, unless it's like insta death, I guess. But like even that, I'm for fucking like, if you wanna check out,
and that's just crazy.
You should have the freedom
like
to do so.
We proselytize our country as the freest nation in the world. And it's not free at all. We got the most people incarcerated. We have the most like laws on drugs, and it's insane.
Yeah.
It's
insanity.
Man,
the fucking, just legalize slavery, dude.
Exactly right. I don't believe. I mean, I believe that people are inherently bad. I do. I think that the exception is the good, but I think that whatever power structure is in place, that's what the masses will follow, right?
Yeah.
So what you have to do is cultivate a society that has good tenets and practices that are rooted in goodness. And right now we don't have that because this society was based off of the barter system of capitalism.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Are you for a full socialist economy, or are you for a mixed? Right now, I'm for mixed because I don't think that we can handle it as a society.
No. Yeah, it'll definitely be a mixture of the two.
Yeah.
I think there'll be a point in the human timeline where everything becomes automated, right? Where we can have agriculture, where we can have your basic needs, shelter. You can 3D print a house, and so there's no more homelessness, and like all of that shit is eliminated, and then you can focus on, to me, the shit that that actually matters. I always said I was on a podcast and I was talking about how like my perfect society would be this. My perfect society would be a society full of artists and scientists, right? So people who just love expressing themselves and cultivating that culture, and then people who just love digging into the natural world. And like I really don't think you need any other kind of human being. I think everything falls into those two categories with a productive hobby, right? I would love to hear pushback on that, but that's just what I feel. But I would, because it would be a beautiful cultivation of a society when everything is automated and everything has, and it's very utopian for sure.
Yeah,
but it's not that far fetched thinking that I drive a Tesla right now, which I know Hugo hates.
Yeah. Those are dangerous. Don't use the autopilot, please.
She's still going by Hugo. I don't want to.
Yeah, for now.
Disrespect. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I have a Tesla that that can drive itself down the freeway, right?
Don't do it. Don't use it.
It works beautifully, fam. I don't know how else to say it, dog. It works beautifully. But that world that we can cultivate, which is going to happen because everything is becoming automated. There's no like the reason for currency doesn't even matter anymore. If your basic needs are taken care of,
right?
Like there's no reason for it.
I guess it luxuries.
But even then,
yeah, I don't know. It depends. It depends on what that structure looks like, right? Because people are still going to want entertainment, and people are still going to want like,
art. That's art,
and yeah.
And so, see that is to me that's the talking point that combats it. Is they always say, there's no incentive in creating. There's no incentive in doing this if there's not any monetary compensation. And I call bullshit.
Yeah, no,
I call 1,000% bullshit.
Unless in a post scarcity society, you're 100% right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. 100%. But the scarcity would be eliminated by technology.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know that humans are altruistic enough and decent enough to each other at any stage that we could count on that. So I don't know. That's why I'm a proponent for a mixed system, because a lot of systems like anarcho-communism, for instance, sounds good on paper. Like we reduce stratification, everybody's equal in the law, we have everything you need, labor is fair, and everybody has a say in stuff and stuff like that. But it takes a guy monopolizing the local water source and just saying fuck you guys to like ruin that society. So it's if it can fall apart like with one or just a few bad actors, it's not a good system.
But how would that fall apart? How would that fall apart though?
What's that?
How would the society fall apart with a few bad actors?
Oh, like I said, say you live in Nevada, and the guy locally is like, okay, this water is fucking mine, and he has people in a coalition enough to, use his numbers to flex that water monopoly on the local thing, and it's like, hey, you have to give me extra whatever it is, whether it's currency at the time or whatever. Right. Yeah, and so it takes a certain level of buy-in from people, and we have to. A lot of people are like, oh, just revolution, and it's like, I understand why you would want the immediacy of like what you think is going to be a really, really positive governmental and economic system on people, but consider the fact that, and I understand a common argument of people is like, well, they're thinking about it under capitalism, right? And it's totally true.
That is,
yeah, and they are, but consider that that's a problem, and they're going to think, where's mine, because of capitalism, right? It's not something that you can switch off. It's something that you have to follow the zeitgeist on, which is why I think, culturally speaking, the most prudent and the most effective method is the slow one, where we chip away at the capitalist system in general. We replace it with social programs. People see the benefits of those. It gets less stigmatized, and then slowly throughout it, you get a system of people that aren't necessarily like the American dream. The idea that you and your family and the money that you create, the capital that you have, that's the American dream. Whereas the American dream in the other society is everybody has what they need, right? Not your family. It's not specific to you. And that's a psychological state that I don't think capitalist countries can maintain without violence, without like in a revolutionary system. I think you genuinely have to slowly change people's outlook on what is the prudent way to live, and that's what my arguments always are against, like, because I have these arguments because I have a lot of super lefty fans and stuff, and I'm with them except for the speed in which they want to do things.
Right. No, I think you implement social programs that directly benefit the health of people. So like Medicare for all. I feel like we do that irrationally as possible, as fast as possible. Yeah. I don't think you ease into that. I think that's what the ACA was. I think it was like slowly moving towards, and that's why it's funny to me to hear like the Republican talking points about the what is that shit called where they're saying that the political spectrum is moving. What is that called?
The Overton window. Hold on one
the
second.
Overton window.
Way longer than a decade, guys. A decade? No, we're talking generational, systemic, not just Overton window, but moral zeitgeist change. Like literal, the psychology of economy and the role government plays in your life and the role you play in society. All of that has to change from a baseline, like as you grow up level, not a decade's gone by and I have a house for free, right? No.
Yeah, no. It can't be like that actually.
No. Yeah.
That's to me that's you're calling for blood if you do that.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's my argument. Like I don't think,
like with
I think it
collapses. I love Beto O'Rourke. I really do. I love Beto.
Really?
But I think call it, I love him. Okay, we'll talk about it. Hold on.
Oh, you're in Texas though, and fuck Ted Cruz, so I get it.
There you go. So that's a big part of it. But when you talk about like gun buybacks and how he's talking about it, like you can't stoke fear, dog. Like anytime you stoke fear, like you're just gonna get an opposite response. So you can't come at it like that. People are not rational, right? I hear gun buyback and I hear okay, fine. This is a more we can strive for a more peaceful society. They say government is taking my guns. Tyranny, which is a whole farce in itself, which is fucking fascinating. I actually looked into that. Like,
did you?
Dog, the entire Second Amendment is the most. It's rooted in the. And I hate to bang this drum, but this country is rooted on it.
Yeah.
The Second Amendment is rooted in racism, dog. I had no idea. Like, if there was one thing that I was like, okay, it's probably not racist. That's just like, nah, dog, that shit is racist as fuck. Anyway, we can hit that at a later date.
I'm writing that down on the list.
Yeah, we'll hit that with that.
Racist Second Amendment.
Right. So if you want to upheave an entire ideology, you can't do that shit right away. There's no way you can do that shit right away. You do that shit, then you're gonna have blood on your hands, actually. Definitely on your hands.
Probably literally on your hands, not metaphorically speaking.
Yeah, and so I'm definitely a socialist when it comes to ideology, but right now, you can't feed a baby meat, right? So there's no way that you can convince. And you know what's interesting, and this is my core with rap in general right now, and like the community that I grew up in. Like we're liberal in principle, but we're conservative in implementation of our ideologies, and it's fucking fascinating to me.
How so?
All right, so like the video I showed you with dude, and he's talking about gay people and gay rights. That's conservative.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so when
Especially
you talk about,
you have to preface it with like, I'm not against gay people.
Yeah, it's a conservative thought. And then think about this one, the drug game, right? I had one of the most brilliant quotes ever I ever heard, and it came from fucking Aladdin.
What?
Aladdin.
Riff raff street trash, and you're like, fuck.
That's amazing. No, it was the new Aladdin, and he said, if you steal a loaf of bread, you're a thief. If you steal a kingdom, you're a king. I was like, holy shit, that is so powerful. So what that broke down was the drug game economics. Like, there's nothing that a street hustler, a gangbanger in the inner city isn't doing that a politician at the highest level isn't doing. They are speaking the exact same language.
There's a different economic stratosphere, definitely.
And that's all it is. We demonize one because it's on a very low level, but at the highest level, they're respected.
Yeah,
it's wild.
A pharmaceutical company is not far away from the guy that sells you Oxy on the corner.
They're worse. They're far worse.
Yeah.
They're doing it at a higher rate. They're not like, at least there's like street ethics, right? which would be equivalent to like government regulation on drugs, right? But fuck, I forgot where I was going with that again. God damn it.
Street trash.
Okay, so he says
I fucking can't believe I resurrected you with the Aladdin.
Yeah, so he says you steal a loaf of bread, you're a thief. You steal a kingdom, you're a king. Yeah. And that kind of like changed my view about. I didn't change my view. It reinforced my view about how we think about all of these drug policies that we have.
Was that Will Smith?
It was Jafar.
Oh.
Yeah, it was Jafar. I didn't even think he did that good of a job, to be honest.
That movie's
But
supposed to be trash.
it's not that I enjoyed it. I think the graphics are pretty dope, but it's like I didn't expect it to be anything else. But this is what it did do, right?
Yeah.
Hell of a tangent, but this is what it did do. I bought Aladdin the cartoon when it came out on iTunes.
Okay.
And I forgot how fucking dope that movie was.
That movie's really good. That animation is, especially on the like lion or tiger.
Yeah, bro, it's insane. And so I was talking to my girl the other day, and this is wild. All right, now this is wild, dog.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Aladdin might be better than the Lion King. It's wild.
It's up there. I will entertain that argument. I mean,
it's a
Lion
great
King's,
movie, man.
It's Animal Hamlet, but yeah. Do you have you ever done like Shakespeare shit with?
I actually played who was it? I played Othello. It was one of the
I was gonna say Othello, of course. You got typecast, dude.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry, not Othello. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Macbeth.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Okay, it was.
I played somebody in Macbeth. I was the one that screamed treason.
I did the entire Henry V play with Philosophy Tube recently. That was good.
That's dope.
Yeah, I have the entire works of William Shakespeare in a book, but it's interesting how little we've changed.
100%. 100%.
Human beings are we're a shit show, and we keep recycling our bullshit. And they say, please read history because you're doomed to repeat your shit if you don't. Like, that's so fucking true. And I don't know, like the fact that Aladdin can say something prescient 30 years later, like Jesus.
But it's the system that we're under. The system hasn't changed. It's the barter system of we deem some kind of element as having value, right? Yeah. And we're sold on that, and that lends itself to corruption. That lends itself to greed. That lends itself to lack of empathy. And anytime you're under this system, this is what's going to happen. And it's the reason why the right wing talking point of less regulation is fucking asinine. It's dumb as hell. You mean to tell me the history of human beings says that the people at the top are going to be greedy and take advantage of everybody else? I mean, that's not going to be the case when you loosen regulations. Get the fuck out. It's just dumb.
Yeah. They think trickle down's a thing, or they want you to think they think trickle down's a thing, so you vote for them so they can have more.
I hate that. And then you see, I was watching this thing the other day, and they was explaining like how much. Because this is the interesting thing, right? Because like I'm a millionaire. I always fuck with people who argue against this, and I'm me being a millionaire. And I'm like, yo, I'll pay all the taxes. I don't care about that shit, right?
Yeah.
But how many tax loopholes my people have actually done in order to keep my wealth more of my wealth? It's insane. And I'm a very
people, okay?
but I'm a very low level millionaire. When you're talking about hundreds of millions and you're talking about billions, then you're talking about real money that can actually affect society, right?
Yeah, I mean,
and
I think I feel like you have like, depending on how you applied it, I feel like you have like community changing money for sure.
Facts, and it can happen, right? And I'm not excluding myself from that, right? But what I'm saying is, one, the system is corrupt in the tax distribution, right? There's no way I shouldn't have a say so on where my taxes go. I agree. I agree 1,000%. That's actually a Republican talking point. I agree with that. I should have a say so in where my taxes. And so
I'd say so. The argument against that is that like when you vote for a representative, that is you deciding where your taxes go, right?
And I would call 1,000% bullshit. I would call 1,000% bullshit. But wealth distribution is non-existent right now because billionaires are literally taking their money and they're funneling it through tax loophole systems and offshore accounts.
Oh yeah, I paid more taxes than Amazon.
And that's insane, dog. That is fucking asinine. And people,
I can't afford it.
the taxes that Amazon paid could have probably single-handedly funded our entire healthcare system.
Oh yeah.
And not only that, I'm sorry getting off on a huge tangent, I'm getting all agitated because it's fucking this is why I don't deem right versus left as a political ideology mishap. It's a moral issue. Like, there's no way I would pay 80% tax if that meant everybody in this country could have health care. Get the fuck out. That is not even a thing to me. That is not even a thing, because what would happen is people would be more empathetic towards pricing. That's just the way economics work. If I'm getting my money took, there's no way I'm gonna overcharge you. It's not gonna happen. I guarantee it, dog. And it's just annoying that this is actually a talking point to people, and it's fascinating to me how greed can be so sexy. I don't understand this shit.
Yeah. Greed is fetishized in the United States for sure, and a lot of other countries. But there's sort of this, like sitting on a pile of fucking gold like a dragon is kind of the dream, right? It's like Scrooge McDuck, like is only kind of the bad guy sometimes, right? Like,
Facts.
like he's you know, he's got a bunch of money, he dives into it, and it's funny, and we wish we had that, and like,
Right.
yeah. What was it, Richie Rich or whatever? Or did you watch Kazam when you were a kid?
Of course I watched.
You know the best part of that movie is when he gets all that McDonald's and shit and it rains from the sky.
Bro, I was about to say that.
Yeah, that's that good shit. Shaquille O'Neal is terrible in that movie. If you watch it as an adult, you're like, what the fuck? But
what's it on? Is it on Netflix or iTunes?
I have no idea.
Check it out.
But
check it out.
oh, he's so bad. But have you ever seen Steel with Shaquille O'Neal?
I didn't. I missed that one.
Okay, miss it. Don't catch it. Just stay. Leave it where it's at. It's a bad one, but yeah, like just that. I remember being a kid and
it's on iTunes for $2.99. Cause that.
God, I didn't necessarily like want stuff. Like again, I was like pretty comfortably middle class. As a child, but I still like there was that Americanized idea of like, but I'm not rich though.
Right.
It was
I didn't know I was poor until I went to one of my friend's house.
I didn't know I wasn't rich until I went to one of my friend's houses. And he had all this stuff, and I was like, what? What are these things?
I think I told you this story before. Maybe I don't know, but the first time I realized that there was a thing called a pantry.
Yeah. You did.
I had no fucking clue, dog. We went to, for that don't know. I went to my man's house, and we always ration food in our house, right? So like you didn't drink all of your drink until the dinner arrived, because then you wouldn't have nothing to wash it down with. So you just rationed, right?
Yeah. So
I went to my man's house, and my dude's mom was like, "Hey, so do you want a snack or something?" I'm like, yeah, I'll take a snack for sure. She goes, all right, go in the pantry. Just get whatever you want. I said, what are you talking about? I don't know what do you mean? She said, go in the pantry. Go get a snack. And I'm like, what? I've never heard of that word, but I didn't know that word.
How old were you?
I was probably like 6, 7, something like that.
Dude, I wonder if she had that like adult moment, like, oh, honey, like, and she just wanted to like hold you.
That's what happened. It's exactly what happened, right?
Yeah.
It was like, so she's like, I was like, I don't know what is a pantry, and so she goes, open this door, open that door over there. So I walked over there, and my face must have been like, whoa, like fucking, I have that. Hold on.
Anyway, like candy snacks and fucking Dunkaroos and shit.
And so it was mad. It was like Dinty Moore soup in a can. They had
that's
like
not a snack. That's
Cheetos. They
Cheetos
had fucking Gushers gummy stuff. They had Twinkies.
I gotta stop you. What's the snack?
I don't even. I think I sat in that room and just ate until I was sick. No question. I was like, yo, I could have anything in here. And she was like, you can have it. She's like, yes, that's what I was having. So I opened the door and I was like, God. And she was like, oh, honey, grab whatever you want. And I was like, I felt her feeling. At that point, I was like, fuck this. I'm finna kill this shit. So I had a whole bunch of shit. But it was just like, I had that rational everything, bro. It was weird. And so I had a realization. I was like, yo, this is a different level of living that I had no idea existed. And then he wasn't even my rich friend. My rich friend stayed in a 2-story house. That was the first time I saw stairs. I had never saw stairs before. We lived in this apartment building that was a one flat. So there wasn't even no stairs in there. So I didn't really know what stairs were. And so I went into his house
That's wild because I grew up in the middle of nowhere and we had a 2.5-story house. Yeah, so
Yeah, no, and to think that you are fascinated with stairs as a 7-year-old is a wild thing. And I think like my kids, like sometimes like I remember I have a pool in my backyard and we're going swimming, and one of my kids goes like he's mad at the game they're playing. He goes and he sits down, and granted this is some kid shit, and he's like, I don't want to play anymore. I'm done. I'm like, you little spoiled piece of shit. You better get your ass in this pool that's in the backyard. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I didn't have a pool. I had a pond, I guess, but
right. But I mean, it's wild to think that the world that my kids are growing up in.
Yeah. Do they get free reign in the pantry?
Yeah, but I don't really have a whole bunch of junk food.
Fair.
I never really got into junk food, but like when I have it, like they can.
Yeah, I don't really snack a lot either.
Yeah, I can't. I used to have a super sweet tooth, but I just don't have it anymore.
I don't have a sweet tooth either. People make fun of me all the time because like I'll have we just went to the store because we had to get some shit, but Halloween candy was like half off or some shit. So we got like Halloween candy. I'll have that bag of Halloween candy for 2 years. Like and it won't just be me that's eating it, right? Like, and they have those little like, fun size like M&Ms or whatever. I'm gonna have M&Ms for the rest of my fucking life. Like I'm just never gonna go through that because I don't crave that kind of shit. What I crave is like, I don't know, like a steak or something every once in a while, like vegetables. Like I actually crave broccoli. I roast broccoli all the time.
No question.
It's so weird.
My shorty asked me that day, like, what do you want to? What are you eating for dinner? I was like, yo, can you get an artichoke?
Oh, did you just grill the artichoke and suck them out?
No, you boil the artichoke in water, and then like the actually like you can eat the end of them off, and then you eat it all the way down to the heart, and then you take out the fucking hair in there. Why is there hair in there? And then you eat the artichoke. It's amazing.
I love artichoke too. Big fan.
This is the thing that I was gonna look up, man. Why we say Halloween candy? Are people not Halloween going trick or treating like when we was kids? Like last year I bought this big old fucking bowl of candy, and I dressed up as Mario and I got all drunk and I fuck with the kids. 3 people came, dog, and it could be the neighborhood I'm living in, but
we have a pretty good neighborhood. We didn't do it this year. We actually streamed D&D that night, but our first Halloween in this house. We live in a neighborhood and there's lots of people with kids. We ran out of candy. I got the big bars too because I wanted to be the house on the block with the real candy, right?
Right.
Because I'm an asshole, I guess. But and I wanted to make everybody else feel bad that they had shit candy. And so yeah, we got rid of the candy. But I don't know how much word of mouth that was, right? So I don't know if the kids were just like, yo, this house over here has like king size candy bars. Like you should go there.
I'm looking at these articles, man. Trick or treating isn't what it used to be. Where have the trick or treaters gone?
Yeah,
I remember vividly going in my neighborhood.
Me too.
And dog, I'm talking about pillowcases, 2 pillowcases filled with candy, dog.
And I'm like, shit too. And I lived out in the middle of fucking nowhere, so.
And I'm like in my neighborhood, or maybe it's my neighborhood, bro. But it's like they're gone. I don't like.
I mean,
I didn't even do it this year. Because like, I'm not gonna go buy candy for 3 kids. Yeah, it is, and
it could be like poorer kids, right? Because I don't know, like maybe the. We went to the rich people's houses to trick or treat because they had good candy, though. I don't know.
You would think, though. That's what I'm saying. You would think that this is prime location. I would go to another. We used to the other neighborhood. Like we would hit our neighborhood, and that might be another factor, though. We used to go trick or treating by ourselves sometimes, and like I don't trust my kids playing in the front yard by themselves right now with the door closed. Like it's wild, and maybe that is a fear in me that my parents didn't have. Like. I don't know, but I have that fear now.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of.
Somebody said maybe kids just figured out I can just buy a bag of candy.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't know. Maybe. I think there is this idea that like we're in a like more tumultuous sort of environment. And maybe people are like, I don't want to take. Did you take kids out or no?
I just part of the custody decree is that I don't have them on. So
Don't have them on what? Sorry.
Halloween.
Any of them?
I got well, 3 of them. Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Well.
Yeah. So I got my lady. I have a daughter with, but she's too young. That's just us. We would just be scratching our Halloween itch then. So I was like,
Yeah.
But when she comes of age, yeah, I'm gonna take her out if she's interested.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
She seemed like a cool kid. That was a little while ago. Though she's grown up a little bit since then. So.
Oh, bro, she's gotten.
They do
bro,
it.
She's hilarious, dog. Oh my god. I'm really hesitant calling my kids like special or smart or unique or whatever because everybody thinks that about their kids, right?
Yeah.
But one, I'm gonna say which one. But one of my kids is extremely special.
Well, there you go.
It's
That's
just good. I think that's a definitely a topic people like to stray. If I was to fuck with like new parents who have like more than one kids, of course I wouldn't tell them that, Strauss. They'll look at my stream later and figure it out. But but I used to fuck with kids, parents who have like more than one kids. I'd be like, yo, which one's your favorite? And they'd be like, what do you?
I don't know.
I don't have a favorite. The fuck out of here, bro. You got a favorite. You have a favorite.
I had. Yeah. No. I mean,
of course you have a favorite, dog. And it's not like anything heinous. It's just like, yo, my personality aligns more.
Yeah.
Personality.
Ain't nothing
funnier.
wrong with that. I think that's actually honest. I
think it's healthy, dog. I think it's healthy.
There's lots of. I don't know.
Don't treat them any differently.
No.
But treat them fairly. Treat them fairly, right? Like I remember, like we used to. Granted, I was beat as a child, right? I also dealt with domestic violence. I was beat, but they always make fun of my mom because they're like, "Oh, you were the favorite. You were the favorite." Like, listen, bro, I wasn't the favorite, dog. You know what it was? It was just I gave them less drama to deal with. So, like, imagine having a kid always fucking with shit, always breaking shit, always ruining shit, always in some shit, always all the time. And when you have another kid who's just like real kind of chill. And just does what the parents say. Like, of course you can be like, you know what? Fuck. I'd rather be around this one.
That was me. My brother has ADHD really bad, and he was in shit constantly, and I never was. I guarantee I was the favorite.
Right. And it's not anything that it's like. I think other than like I enjoy this one more. Like it's not that. It's just like, dog. This one is less hassle. And so you tend to go towards the path of less friction. Like it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Especially if you're not telling the kids, by the way, Jimmy's my favorite kid. You guys, the other ones, just step the fuck
more
up.
like him.
No, but I think it's internally, like I think it's reasonable to be like, okay, so I kind of know how to, expect a certain reaction from this kid, and like I like and just enjoying more specific types of interactions with them. Like, I don't know. I think that's healthy. I think it's reasonable, especially if you're cognizant of it. Because if you're not cognizant of it, you could accidentally play favorites.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. And then what? The other thing that kids don't understand is like all that sucking up shit. I can't stand that shit. Yeah. And snitching. I always tell my kids, but stop telling on each other. Like they'll come in and be like, Cairo, he told me, like, bro, I don't want to hear it. I'm not that parent.
Yeah. Have experience with that shit too, in classrooms and out of it, where it's like, look, I'm glad that you trust me with this information. That's absolutely good. But the reason you're telling me this information isn't because you think there needs to be like corrective action. It's because you want them to be in trouble, right? It's not this like well-meaning thought you have. It's not like, oh, Timmy's gonna hurt himself if I don't say something to an adult. It's fuck that guy over there. Oh God, did I lose you again? No! Oh no! Oh God, did I... Back normal?
Yeah. I think every now and then Discord just drops it for some reason.
That's weird.
Yeah, but I know I heard you
smiling and agreeing with me, so I will.
That I said, for the sanctity of our playpen, can you please tell Timmy to stop?
Look, Tabitha, the sandbox is not the same with your negative attitude. Okay, I really think it'd be constructive if I brought Daddy into this.
I think the diplomacy here. The ration of toys, the toy distribution. That's comedy. But family, man, I got to go get this workout and I'm finna go play basketball.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I'm finna. Oops, that's probably a little.
What?
You didn't hear that? I accidentally hit the soundboard for the for the what's the call? Curb Your Enthusiasm theme song.
Yeah.
As soon as I said I'm gonna play basketball, that shit popped up.
What position? What position?
It's not how it works in pickup, bro.
Well, how many people you play?
5 on 5.
Yeah, you still have positions. Come on. Someone brings the ball up. There's one guy that brings the ball.
I usually bring the ball up and play the wing. So I'm
right,
like
okay.
one or two. One or two.
That's
one or two. Yeah, I'm definitely a guard. But I'll play the post if somebody like usually because like football players have a different physicality.
You gotta
push
like them little guys around, dude.
No, but if somebody's bigger, and like there's nobody on the team that wants to, I'll muscle him up in the middle.
I do that too, even though I'm not very tall. I do that too.
Yeah, it's all to the good. But dog, man, this has been it's been fun, man. I think we should make it a recurring theme on every Sunday. This will be our church of Arian and Jake, or Jake and Arian, whatever.
Do you want to call it our church?
Our church of our church. We'll come up with a dope.
All right, we'll get your marketing mind on that shit. Okay,
I got you. Our church of something. I'll figure it out, bro.
All right, I'll also put this up on YouTube.
For sure.
Over at my shit, and yeah, it's been good. Next time we're apparently talking. We didn't get to 2 of them, so we can carry them over if you want. We didn't talk about, and maybe this will show up. I have no idea. We genuinely don't have a plan here. We wanted to talk about the Bernie answering a question about if he had a black child, how they should deal with police, which I thought was a cool answer, and that you and I have talked about weaponizing police in the past, which I thought was interesting. You wanted to talk about an anti-vax experience.
Oh yes, this is true.
And then we talk about the racism behind the Second Amendment, and probably the 14th Amendment that we should talk about at the same time.
For sure. So, yeah. We could hit all of that stuff, man.
Sounds good.
I appreciate you, brother. Much love to yourself and your stream. I love the community you've cultivated, and I'm proud of your growth, man. So keep doing your thing, man.
Yeah, thanks. And you got a little fast track with your check mark. I'm not bitter about it. It's fine. And,
I ain't gonna lie. That was pure muscle, man. It was pure muscle.
You've been putting the grind in though, so it doesn't feel like you
right.
don't work for it, right?
And I know, and it's for people that don't know what he's talking about. Like I'm verified or whatever the partner thing on Twitch. It was merely because of a relationship, and I didn't even cultivate it. It was I know.
Yeah, they do.
I went on sometimes. Yeah, I went on Joe Rogan and his. You know the dude, the Jamie behind the mic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so him. Like I got to be real good friends with him. And he was like, "Yo, I'll put you in touch with my people." But it makes sense for both of them, for them and for me. You know what I'm saying? But I always hate going into a new arena not respecting that's why I grinded for affiliate, right? I wanted to grind for verified, but they was like, "Yo, we'll just fast track." You know, I was like, "All right, bet."
Yeah, I think you're on the way anyway. You stream 5 days a week, so I think that's dope. Anyway, so everybody go over to Bobby Feeno on Twitch if you want a lot of Fortnite. I'm going to pick up Modern Warfare. You talked me into it, and we'll play together, okay?
Dog, let's get it. I'm in love with the game, fam. Is it good?
Fun
as hell.
I know
you ain't gonna do Fortnite.
I can't
you refuse
it's
for some reason.
Fucking. It blows my mind. I like watching you play, and I can't do it. Every time I try, I pick it up, and I'll. It's a shit show.
That's funny, man.
I suck at it. I'm really bad at it.
It's all good. So any of my followers that ain't following Jake, man, drop a follow. Amazing dude, love him. We friends, and we'll be back. Man. We'll be back with our church of
Yeah, we'll be back with church on Sunday morning next week.
Yeah, every Sunday morning. So I appreciate y'all, man. Much love.
All right, later.